All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader 105.1 The Fan. And the Fan Sports Network. Hello. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
What is happening?
Nice little Tuesday morning.
We get our kinks figured out from yesterday. No more kinks today?
No, yeah.
We got unkinked, or we're permanently kinked? It's never going to get fixed.
I want you to bring that up.
Remind you of the struggles of yesterday's show.
Thank you.
Welcome back in. Hello, I got a ball in my court. It's not going anywhere. This is how we're going to operate.
At basketball practice yesterday, and I asked a kid how his day was going. He's like, it's fine. School's boring. How's yours? I was like, my headphones are all knotted up. And he goes, what? And I was like, never mind. Keep dribbling.
Did you make him run laps?
Yeah. Go! Baseline to baseline, now!
No, but it is funny how...
Pick up the pace.
I think about when I started playing, like, organized basketball to when I stopped playing, like, my last real organized basketball.
Sure.
And just how many times now kids will do certain things and me and other coaches will look at each other and go, oh, if you were in 1998
If you
now.
were 20 years younger right now, do you have any idea how your coach would have handled this situation? They would not have been as nice as me.
No, they wouldn't, but we got to process our feelings.
That's right. We got to be nice to everybody.
Support everybody.
You know, just make people run. That used to be like
No.
I feel like a once-a-month practice for me when I was young. I'll never forget my first sophomore year JV baseball showing up. I still know the coach to this day, good buddy of mine. And a kid forgot his glove to play catch.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Timeout.
Timeout.
You call it timeout, T.O.?
So when you were a child,
Yeah.
your head coach,
Yeah.
who you're now calling a good buddy of
He's
yours?
a good buddy of mine. Yeah, we play golf with all the time. Not really a child. This is sophomore year of high school, so a little bit older.
How old is he when he's your coach?
He was young. He was probably
Like a 20-something?
30s, mid-30s.
Okay.
So a little bit younger
There's
than I
a bit
am
of
right
an
now.
age gap there.
Oh, there for sure
Still
is.
about 15 years difference
Oh,
there.
huge age gap. We just stayed in touch after we played. We
Was
play
he
golf
buying
all the
you
time.
beer?
He was not buying me beer. Unfortunately not.
that
Would
coach.
have been nice to have a hookup right out of the gate. There was a kid who forgot his glove. You go out to the foul line, you start playing catch to warm up for practice. He didn't have a glove, and then looked around like, I don't know what I'm
Wait, he
supposed
showed up to baseball without a glove?
Exactly. What am I supposed to do? Looking around, and he literally, the coach, he started yelling. Everybody dropped their gloves, and we spent the next 2 hours running.
The whole practice?
The entire team.
Because of one player?
The entire practice.
Boy.
The entire time. And I remember thinking to myself, I hate this guy. That's why it's ironic that now we're still good buddies.
You know what's interesting is the head coach of the Fire, his name is Alex Sarama. And it just coincidentally how the universe works is, so I've been coaching for a few years now. I got wind of a book he wrote. And it's about the transformation of basketball. And he's bringing a lot of European ideas to America. And so I'm diving heavy into this book before my fall and winter seasons, right? And then they name him as the coach. And I'm like, that's crazy. He now lives here.
I know that guy.
I kind of know that guy. But it's funny to read because basically the book is like how much time people waste at practices. And you just highlighted exactly his point. What a waste of everybody, the coach and the players' time, to spend an entire practice just running because
in
one
baseball,
kid
nonetheless.
made a mistake. Yeah, in baseball, because one kid made a mistake of not bringing his glove. Now, should he be made fun of? Yeah, have fun with it.
Sure.
But what a waste of time. And he's so right. Like, Think about all the time in any sport, football, basketball, baseball, tennis, whatever.
You spend 40% of the time just farting around. You're not doing anything.
It's just like punishment on the baseline. It's just like, or we could find a different way to use our time because
maybe
we're only here for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Maybe this is why kids are soft these days, because they don't have to run for 2 hours anymore.
Maybe. There's certainly an element of that.
There's no consequences for screwing up.
Thank you. You know what that kid did? He quit. You know what we didn't have anybody do the rest of the year?
Forget their glove.
Well, I mean, had you had anybody forget their glove prior to that?
No, I don't think. Well, it was first practice of the year. It was like right out of the gate.
So
it was
I
the
think
first
the
week.
kid that quit playing baseball.
We're here to play baseball. You don't have a glove.
The running wasn't the difference here with the team.
We learned our lesson. We learned our lesson the hard way. Back in the old day, uphill both ways to school, walking in the snow. That's the way we were taught.
Yeah, we had practices where somebody would be dumb. Somebody would say dumb things. Like it was Park Rose. And we had one practice where we spent an hour straight just running lines.
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking, like, whatever for me, because I was in pretty good shape, but, like, what a waste of time.
We didn't really accomplish much today.
We're terrible. We didn't accomplish anything.
Well, now you're in better shape.
We had, my junior year, I was on the JV team, and we had a new head coach for the varsity, and the football team had won the state title that year, so they were all late coming back, and we had been running the same system since we were all, like, 6.
Right. Everybody knows it.
And he threw them out of practice like 3 or 4 times, and JV were like, sweet, we get the whole gym, let's go. It was
For what?
crazy.
For what?
Oh, it was just a battle of wills.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
It was insane.
It is. To me, it's
Which is why I had a different coach my senior year.
Yeah, he was out after that. You're not coming back after doing that. At
No.
Lake Ridge? No.
No.
You a state championship football team? No. Those kids are not getting
what did
tons out of
you
practice.
accomplished nothing. You wasted everybody's time, including your own, and then you lost your job.
Right.
Exactly.
There has to be a balance of both worlds where you're not obviously the dictator that makes running the only thing that you do, because it doesn't accomplish much outside of getting in better shape. But in some sports, that really doesn't matter, a la baseball. You don't need to be in that good of shape. Running in baseball is one of the dumber things that you do, like long-distance conditioning runnings.
Sure.
Literally makes no sense. It's not a thing that happens in the sport. Short sprinting spaces, 90 feet, I get it. Rounding the bases, totally understand. But long-distance running doesn't make sense, while also holding people accountable for their actions and their behaviors.
In football, we didn't really run. You did down and backs in camp,
Sure.
Goal line to goal line. But we had our punishments when we had pads was in 4th grade or 5th grade. It was if you got in trouble, you had to stand 5 yards from the whole team, so they'd be on the goal line, and you're at the 5, and you have to make it to the other touchdown, to the other end zone. But your entire team is lined up chasing you, and
Trying
they
to
can
tackle
absolutely annihilate you.
Yeah, you got to run. You got to outrun all of them.
That was the punishment. And let me tell you, that was an exhilarating experience.
For both people.
You just turn around and
the
it's
fear.
just,
The entire team's coming at you.
it looks like Game of Thrones. Charge! You're just running. Ah!
I'm not going to lie. That's not that bad of an idea.
not a
One,
bad
fun
idea.
for everybody who didn't get in trouble or do something stupid. Let's go tackle that guy because he's being a dumbass. Let's go
Yes.
take him down. That's kind of fun. Just, go loose. And then the other kid, hey, you're going to learn some good football skills in that one. You're trying to outrun an entire team, dodging tacklers, stiff-arming people. That's going to create some good habits.
Yeah, I'm not anti doing something. I just running for a whole practice is crazy.
I remember thinking to
What a
myself,
waste.
this is so stupid.
It's so
the
dumb.
entire time, just livid in my head of why? What am I doing? This is
Right.
that we're playing baseball. It's the first day of practice.
What position did that kid play that forgot his glove? Outfield?
I'd probably
It'd be
outfield
funny to just make him play outfield with
without
no
a glove.
Yeah.
Just to go stand out there.
Not like you're going to get a line drive super hard out there.
I mean, I'm glad the kid quit because he couldn't catch, he couldn't throw, he couldn't do anything. So it accomplished the goal of getting him off the team. Like we didn't need him. He was
Sure.
dead weight for everybody involved. But yeah, it was.
Dead weight.
Isn't it funny though how the
He's a
industry
human being.
not on JV baseball circa 2005. Hell no, dude. That guy's breaking
you
us
guys
down.
good?
No, we were terrible.
So he made you run for a whole practice, and he wasn't even.
I hated that kid, man. He made me run for a practice, and then
Yeah.
he quit. He didn't even want to play
You guys
anymore.
needed more swings in the cage.
What are you doing out here?
Learn to lay a bunt.
Why are you even trying to play baseball if you don't have a glove? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You going to go to basketball practice without shoes?
I've seen it actually.
Like, I'm going to play barefoot today?
I've seen that
We're going
happen.
shoes and bare feet? All right, let's play this 5-on-5.
Sometimes kids are so talented they don't need their shoes and they still dominate.
That would be an intimidating thing.
Yeah, well, it happened. I promise you, it's happened.
Like, all right.
Are you beating us in sandals?
Yeah,
Flip flops.
I got my slides on right
Wearing
now.
jeans.
Jeans and slides.
That was lunch.
Torching you for 18 in the paint.
Yeah, no doubt.
What the hell happened there, man?
Punishments as an adult, that would be a really funny thing too in the workplace.
Yeah, things that you made somebody do around the office.
Like
run a lap around the building.
when Swag pisses off Cooley because he's breathing down Cooley's neck about something that Cooley clearly doesn't care about.
Up downs. Come on. 5 minutes of up downs. Let's go now.
5-minute up downs.
He gets the whistle out of his desk. Beep.
How many people in our building, if Cooley was like, hey, see that hallway? Down and back. What? Down and back.
Now.
Go.
Go.
How many would like awkwardly start running like, okay?
All right.
Like how many people would actually start responding to the punishments?
Your inner 12-year-old comes out and you're like, all right, coach. I don't want to get benched. I want some playing time
like
this
Cooley
weekend.
walks past our studio. We have Joe Fish will come in once in a while. He sees Joe Fisher in here talking to us during a commercial break.
Not making those calls, sending
Not
those
making
emails.
those sales calls and emails.
What are we
and
doing?
Cooley's like, give me 10 up and downs.
Now.
What does Joe Fisher do? He's probably doing them.
How many people could do 10 up downs, like legitimate up downs? I don't even know if I could. My shoulders might pop out.
Not me.
No.
You don't think you could do
Like
10
a
up downs?
legitimate,
I'd
up down,
straight up,
like not like
down.
slowly ease your knees and then your hands onto the
And
floor,
not a hunched back.
No.
Like it's got to be straight up.
straight up,
It's got to be full
and
down.
a dive down to the ground,
Yeah.
push yourself back up. No, dude, my shoulders.
You couldn't do 10?
I mean, I probably could, but
But
I
it would hurt?
I
I'd
would
find a
hurt
way,
like
but
hell.
they would not look to form.
I mean, I was on the ground and then off the ground and then back on the ground, but it's not how it was supposed to look.
We always end practice with a 5-minute dribbling thing. We got one of our main coaches in the middle, and he's doing all these dribbling moves, and the kids are supposed to match him, right? At the very end yesterday, we do these planks, and the kids get to hold the basketball on the ground, and then they plank from their hands on top of the ball, right?
Sure.
So we did 90 seconds of this, and man, there was one kid, he fell like 8 times, and I ran over there, and there's probably 20 seconds left, and I'm like, let's get your legs up. Let's get your legs up. He's like, I can't.
Just shaking.
And I was like, good try. And I just walked away and started clapping. Because
There we go. There we go.
It was
There we
the body shaking, and it was the, I can't. The ball is
Just
like,
gyrating on the
dude,
floor.
the ball's violently shaking. And I'm like, I don't legitimately think he could do this.
Are you having a seizure right
Are
now?
you all right?
I don't know if you're okay.
But yeah, so sometimes you see people doing punishments, and you're like, good try.
You gave it an effort, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, you went
That's all it
70
was.
seconds of the 90
I mean,
seconds.
I think every kid eventually learned too to like the pretend fake hard run instead of the actual hard run.
Oh yeah,
The arms a little bit, a little bit more kick in the arms.
Yep.
A little more heavy breathing. Like I'm
Right.
working out here. I'm working, but you're
Right.
just pretending the entire time.
10 up downs. How many people can we think of that would be able to do 10 up downs?
I think the brand man could do 10 up downs if you needed to.
Okay.
I would vote you. You could probably do 10 up downs.
I think
Okay.
once King Sella learned what an up down
King
was,
Sella
he
could
could do
one.
them.
King Sella's in good
King
shape.
Sella's in good cardio shape.
Cardio shape.
King
sure.
Sella doesn't lift.
That's true.
And I keep warning him.
He's
You're
not
getting
a
old,
big.
dude.
He's not that, but he's not a big guy.
No.
That's true. No,
He's weary. He's a runner, and if you don't lift, you're going to be an old.
understand.
you got to
Yeah.
bulk a little bit. We need a little more
You
protein
got to lift
there,
a little
Dave.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. He would
Could
have
Tubbs
the.
do 10 up downs?
A little worried about Tubbs.
I don't know if Tubbs
I don't think
could.
Tubbs could.
I don't think Tubbs could.
Chicken skewer in front of him, maybe.
Maybe if you put a chicken skewer on the
Some
ground,
motivation might help him.
diving down and biting that thing each time he goes down.
Joe Fisher.
Probably not. I'm going to vote no there.
Joe will give you a good burst for 5, but the last
Yes.
5 are going to
He's
be
breathing
work.
pretty hard.
First 3, perfect form.
Right.
4, 5, you're losing a little bit. 6, are you alive right now?
Danny.
No.
No.
No chance. Too many
Something would
surgeries.
break.
Something would go wrong. Dude, he tore his hamstring watching a football game. Like, no.
Wait, watching a football game?
Yeah, you don't remember that? The Oregon USC game. He tore his
The one
hamstring
I wanna see
walking
do
to his
it-
seat.
Want to see Johnny Ludes do it.
Johnny Ludes, no. I love you, Johnny Ludes. I don't think
I'm
you can
gonna
do
vote
10.
no on that one.
I think we're slim pickings around the office, man. Johnny Martin probably.
Johnny Martin, okay.
Johnny Martin's he's tiny.
Yeah.
Not a lot of weight to push up. I could see that happening.
Our sales gals, Paulina, Veronica,
yeah,
Marisa.
they
I
all
think-
do hood to coast,
yeah.
right? Or
No.
some of them do, don't
Only
they?
one of them.
Only one of them
Yeah.
does. Well, The Hood to Coast one could do it. The other one's probably not.
Okay.
I'll vote that. I think it's less than 5. I'd set the over-under at 5.5.
Terry Boyd.
No chance,
No,
Terry Boyd. I
Terry's
love you,
not
buddy.
doing it.
He said no chance.
If you're listening to the bathroom right now, hell of a golfer, no chance.
No chance 10 up downs.
No chance 10 up downs.
All right,
With
well,
proper form necessary.
We'll ask around the
Dusty's
office.
embarrassing the rest of us.
Yeah, he'd lap us all.
Dusty is?
Yeah.
10 up downs. I'm going to ask people during commercial breaks when they start trickling in, hey, could you do 10 up downs
Let's
right
see
now?
it. Walk in the building. Let's go now. Up, down, now. You're late.
Well, we got a loaded show today. Randomly, we have Greg Oden
Greg Oden on the show. That Greg Oden.
at 8 a.m.
Scheduled for 8 a.m.
We'll see if he calls.
Calling us.
He's
Calling
calling. Will
us.
he remember to call us?
His agent didn't send us any notes. You're
No.
always supposed to have notes for these interviews.
We're
because
winging it.
We're winging it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys are pros.
Just talk to Greg
Well,
Oden.
I know,
man.
but usually these people have something they want to pub, which is why
Yeah.
he's on.
18-year-old me would be really excited about that interview.
Yeah. Man, what a
I'll
time.
never forget that day. The day we got the number 1 pick and won the lottery.
I'll
will
never forget either.
Never forget that day
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Is there any ounce of him in willing to admit on the radio that he was like, Portland?
I think we should ask him
I was
about
hoping
that.
Seattle.
I know he wasn't a huge fan at the end of his time in Portland,
Well,
and I think time has healed some of those wounds, as it usually does.
Sure.
But at the moment, when it came to an end, it was not a happy relationship.
Well, we'll talk with Greg Oden coming up at 8. It's a Mail Sack Tuesday, so get those Mail Sack questions in at 503-864-6326. We'll get to that in the final hour of the radio program.
Mail sack.
And a lot to discuss. Let's start in college football. A whoopsie-daisy by this starting quarterback and what it all means. We'll start there. Dirt and Sprague, good to be with you. We get it going next on 105.1 The Fan. How do you think Brendan Sorsby did gambling on his Indiana football team when they went 4-8 in 2022?
Somebody said that's a great telltale sign of somebody with a problem if you were gambling on Indiana football in 2022. Not last year's Indiana. Although the other thought I had, maybe vacate all their wins from last year. 3 years of guilt.
Really?
Running into last year, vacate it, get them out of here.
But it does nothing for your program.
Give us another Wolf championship. That's back-to-back, bitch. 2 banners for you.
I think you could still be the Wolf champion by still getting bludgeoned in the playoff.
Not last year. They were undefeated. They never lost. We didn't beat them the first time around. We didn't get a Wolf title last year. I'll take my Wolf title, please. Thank you.
Yeah, how about 10:15 a.m.? We're sitting out there post-show, and lowercase comes out and just goes, "What's going on with Brendan Sorsby?"
What do you mean, lowercase?
We're like, what?
Okay, what's happening here?
And lo and behold, we found out that new Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby's checked himself into a rehab treatment for a gambling addiction. Evidently, he was gambling as a redshirt freshman at Indiana on his team.
On his team. He pulled a Pete Rose. To our knowledge, never gambled against his team or through any sort of game. I think he played the year he was at Indiana. He redshirted. He played one game and garbage time mop-up duty. That was the only one he got in.
It's a take that probably doesn't sit well with people because we're talking about addiction, and I don't want to joke about addiction.
Downplay the idea of it. Certainly a problem for a lot of people.
The element of addiction is real. Now, addiction aside, okay?
Set it to the side.
I'm not kidding when I say I'd be totally all right if athletes bet on their teams, and I feel like it'd be okay if we knew that going into games.
This guy's got $500,000 on them winning this game.
If you told me Jaden McDaniels has 350 G's on the T-Wolves to eliminate the Nuggets in Game 6.
Just in Game 6 was his exact bet.
He's moneyline betting the Wolves.
Moneyline betting that game.
Or you found out that Joe Burrow is going into Buffalo against Josh Allen. He's laid 100 G's on Bengals plus the 4.5.
Love our chances this week.
If you told me you could do that,
it sounds like you might have a problem.
I don't think I got an issue with it.
Sounds like you might have a bit of an issue over there.
I just think it makes for great content. Now, selfishly, let's put that back to the side. Yeah, I do.
I also love that it was reported he was sitting at Reds games. He would go in, when he was in Cincinnati, go to Reds games and bet $2 on literally every pitch of the game.
Yeah.
Ball, $2, strike, $2, every pitch of the game.
That's
Do you know how many pitches are thrown?
Yeah.
How many times you got to press bet?
One guy might throw 100 pitches.
Yes, that's a lot of bets, dude. That's adding up really quick.
Yeah, so now we don't know because the NCAA obviously prohibits gambling, and we have no idea what this means. I don't mean to make light of the gambling part here and the addiction, but also he's getting treatment. He's addressed it. That's great. There's really nothing much else to add there. It is kind of the fallout of what happens with Texas Tech.
That's the $1 million question in all of this.
I saw everybody photoshopping your boy in a Texas Tech 15 uniform.
You know what the punishment is if they do that?
What?
So there's a new rule in place now when you try and get a guy to transfer outside of the portal window.
Well, Texas Tech wasn't doing it. Just random accounts were doing it.
No. I'm not saying Texas Tech. I'm just saying when you're this is a legit new rule the D1 cabinet approved in one of the strictest rules that we've seen. Now, is it actually enforceable? Will it actually transpire? I don't know, because we have that with the clearinghouse saying where Nebraska is filing a lawsuit for some of their players getting their money turned down, and they're filing a lawsuit against the clearinghouse, and I think that's going in front of a judge starting today, and that's probably going to get struck down. Basically, what they're calling it a ghost transfer portal window, that if you acquire... So if they were to find out Sorsby is ineligible, right, and they say Dylan Raiola is going to be a prime candidate for this, no doubt about it, and they call him up and they want to get him to bolt Oregon and then come to Texas Tech for next season, since there's only one window now, the two punishments that come with it, according to the NCAA, is a half-season suspension for the head coach. So he's suspended for 6 games. Joey McGuire would not be able to coach in 6 games for them, and the university would be fined 20% of the football budget at the school.
Really?
Those are the two punishments that come with it now. Now, is it enforceable? Will somebody file a lawsuit if they actually do it? I don't know, but those are the rules that are in the book, and they were approved by the D1 cabinet, I think last year or earlier this year. Can't remember exactly when it happened, but they're trying to cramp down on, you have this window, it's in January, that's when you can transfer, it's a free-for-all, go wherever you want, but if you do it outside of that window, there will be consequences of it. And a lot of people have looked at Texas Tech's schedule and looked at the amount of money that they make and have made the argument it's a no-brainer that they need to do this. because you don't know if Brendan Sorsby's going to be available. Their backup quarterback, who was Will Hammond last year, remember, he came in and played a little bit.
He tore his ACL.
Yeah. He might not be ready until October.
I think have to go to a Tulsa transfer.
You might. Now, go look at Texas Tech's schedule and ask me if they need Joey McGuire for the first 6 games of their season.
Probably not.
They play literally nobody.
So, Sorsby, according to the guidelines of the NCAA, there's a really good chance he's done.
Yes.
The NCAA might say you're banished from playing college football.
Like, I know it's a funny joke, and I agree with you. That would have a lot on the line for guys gambling on their team to play. This is one of the strictest in sports. You cannot do it.
And there should be.
I don't care who you're gambling on. I don't care how it works.
Yes.
If you're putting money on your team to win a game, that's just an immediate no-no. And the NCAA has been investigating this evidently for a while. And I saw a report yesterday that Texas Tech was aware of this, even in the recruitment and transfer process, that this was kind of hanging over his head.
The crazy part of this, too, is not only is he now potentially banished from college football, Texas Tech loses their starting quarterback, which he was one of the most sought-out quarterbacks in the portal. He chose Texas Tech over Miami and blanking on the other one.
others, yeah.
He's also facing a lawsuit from the University of Cincinnati.
Yes, he is.
For a breach contract, and that's in the $1 million ballpark range.
Yeah.
So this cat's dealing with a $1 million lawsuit. He is probably going to lose his college career forever. And the next time you see him will be at like an NFL draft combine.
Yes. I've seen some people make the argument if that happens for him, he's going to apply for the supplemental draft in the NFL.
I wouldn't blame him at all.
You're not going to sit around for a year. He tested the waters a little bit and decided to come back. But now if you can't play college football next year, you're not going to wait around for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets – I do truly hope he can learn from this and get past it. He made thousands of bets.
Yes, thousands. A lot of bets, man. We're talking a lot of bets.
He made him as a redshirt freshman, too.
Yes, he did.
Which, it starts to beg the question of...
He was underage at the time.
Well, underage and, college football and college athletics, they've had some couple, like, side bets that we've noted. Like, remember the Alabama coach was calling in bets via a third party?
Yes.
You've had some, like, no-name guys from Iowa State. This is easily the biggest one, as Dan Wetzel of ESPN reports.
Right.
And yesterday, coincidentally, we just happened to also have Pat Riley come out and talk about, hey, this is the dangers of getting into bed with gambling companies. We want their money.
Yes, we do. Avenue dollars are great. Revenue dollars.
We can't be shocked by the results of things. And so not everything in the NBA is tied necessarily to the DraftKings and the BetMGMs and all that stuff. But it's no coincidence that it's popped up so much, and now you've got this story out there. I'm still one that thinks, sports gambling should be legal.
Yes.
I think having strict restrictions that are, if you're going to punish somebody and you say, hey, you're done playing the sport forever, then I think you're protecting yourself in a good way. And they caught this. It wasn't like it was in season and Texas Tech is 4-0 and they found out, hey, last weekend he moneyline bet the Red Raiders.
Yeah, it's April, man. You got a ways to figure this out.
But, yeah, it's just a very odd thing where I'm like pro allowing us to do it, but also acknowledging there's been a real string and run on ties from athletes, coaches, obviously, we know that,
right.
And now a major quarterback in college football.
Well, I think the gambling stuff aside, because they're always going to take the revenue that comes with the advertisement. They're never going to say no to that.
Hard to see them kicking them out of bed.
Now that they have the money in their coffers, you're not going to say, let's take this money out of our coffers. It just will not happen.
Right.
So I think it almost becomes more of a football conversation for me, because Texas Tech is literally a lock to make the college football playoff next year. With the roster that they have.
Unless BYU takes a step with Bachmeier in year two.
They might, and this is where it gets interesting, because I would argue Sorsby's already better than what Bachmeier was.
No doubt.
Now, if he's not available, that hangs in the air a little bit. You know who they don't play in the regular season?
BYU.
They don't play BYU.
Yeah.
So their first 6 games next year, Abilene Christian. They come up to Corvallis. They play Oregon State in week 2.
That's right.
Houston at home. Sam Houston at home.
You might get a dub.
Colorado on the road and Arizona State at home. Those are your first 6 games. And if I'm Cody Campbell, who's their billionaire booster oil guy who's funding all of this stuff, I would like what's the fine I have to pay, and we don't need Joey Maguire for 6 games. We'll be fine. Michigan won a national title without Jim Harbaugh for half of their season.
Yeah, they did. They won it with his dad.
If they can do it with Jack Harbaugh,
Jack has a win from that
and
season.
the creeper Sharon Moore coaching them to a national championship, they'll be fine in that schedule without Joey Maguire coaching them. And I wouldn't be shocked in the least if they bit the bullet and said, "What's it cost to go? If it's Raiola or whoever else, we'll give you $6 million. Come on down and play quarterback for us."
It's weird that I have this conversation, this topic, and I'm like, what's the spread for Oregon State, Texas Tech right now?
I don't know if there's an early line. I would guess it's rather large. That would be my
give me the B plus points at home.
You taking the points?
Jesus.
Taking the points as a dog?
It's so dirty, but I'm not the one breaking the rules here.
No, man. People have addictions to Are we going to ban alcohol because alcoholism exists?
Don't get me started on that.
Right? Like it just...
Porn, alcohol, cigarettes.
Addictions happen. They are a thing.
No doubt.
You want people to get treatment when they can. The rest of us do it responsibly. This is going to impact, though, one of the biggest teams in college football next year, potentially, if he's not able to go.
We'll get to the Blazers coming up at the top of the hour. It's a pivotal Game 5. Are we going to have a gentleman's sweep, or are we going to surprise the world and send it back to Portland? We'll start talking about that coming up at the top of the hour. Coming up next, I'll stick kind of in the world of college football, but from a draft angle. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about on the other side. But first, Swag with the Sports Update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers facing elimination tonight in San Antonio. Game 5 of their first-round playoff series against the Spurs after blowing halftime leads in both games 3 and 4. Tips at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Portland 12.5-point underdogs. Top-seeded OKC Thunder, the first team to advance to the conference semifinals. They completed a sweep of the Suns 131-122 in Game 4. The East number 1 seed is in trouble. They lose Game 4 to Orlando, 94-88, fall behind the Magic 3-1. The Nuggets taking advantage of the injury-riddled Timberwolves in a 125-113 Game 5 victory. They avoid elimination. T-Wolves head home up 3-2 for Game 6 on Wednesday. Former Oregon State Beaver and number 1 overall draft pick Travis Bazzana expected to make his Major League debut today for the Cleveland Guardians at second base. They face the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch 3:10 this afternoon. College baseball this afternoon on 9:10. 13th ranked Oregon Ducks hosting the WCC leading Gonzaga Bulldogs. First pitch 2:05 p.m. Pregame coverage at 1:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt.
right, welcome back in. 6:36 on Dirt and Sprague, 105.1 The Fan. I pulled the audio from yesterday that you had mentioned from the late rounds of the NFL draft. We had an argument.
The round 7 brouhaha between Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis.
Now, I had to edit it down because it's about 4 minutes.
They wouldn't stop. They kept going.
Yeah, they got interrupted eventually to the point where it was like, all right, now you guys really need to stop. And so this is like round 7. It's literally the end of the draft. Charles Davis is on the dais with Daniel Jeremiah and Rich Eisen.
Talk about problems. If you're watching this at this point, seek help. If you're sitting around on
if it's on your television in the background,
70-degree Sunday, what time was the 7th round wrapping up? I don't even know. I'm assuming in the middle of
it's
the
like
day.
2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, it's Saturday, not Sunday?
Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, Saturday.
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday
We were
was-
well into NHL and NBA playoff action on
Not
your
to mention,
TV.
the weather was perfect.
It was great.
If you were watching this,
Well, if you're at home doing chores, you're in your garage whittling away. Like, if it's on the
Nah.
background, I don't judge you.
turn Real Sports on. I think I'm still judging. Still judgy.
Either way, it's the 7th round, and somehow Mendoza comes up for the Raiders, and Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis. It's about a 2-minute clip. They get into it a little bit.
Tom Brady's been on national airways forever talking about how this league fails quarterbacks and how they don't do it properly. And he went through this himself.
And let's wait and see what Tom does.
He went through this himself. He's got his guy in place with Kirk Cousins.
Drew Bledsoe was sitting there.
I know, and Kirk Cousins is an accomplished
Tom was a
player in this
six-round
league.
pick.
He's an accomplished player in this
Tom
league.
was a sixth-round
Kirk Cousins
pick.
is not some
He was
scrub.
not a first-round pick.
He's not going to rush him on the field. I'm just telling you. He's not going to do it.
He will tell us that now.
They're not in any hurry. They just hired the head coach. He just got there. There's no rush. They're in no hurry.
I can't wait to
ask you this. He's not going to start right away. I promise you.
Okay, so then let me ask you
I
this.
can't wait to see this.
Maybe it's not right away. What's more likely? What's more likely to be higher? Number of Fernando Mendoza starts this year? Raiders draft position in next year's NFL draft. What number is higher?
Ooh. I'm going to say that he's going to start 7 games.
Okay. And so...
Kirk Cousins will get him past the halfway mark.
Okay. So 7 games.
Start 7 games, and I'm going to say that the Raiders are picking 9 next year.
Okay. What about you?
Oh, draft position.
But you think that he's going to be... I thought
No,
you said
I'm sorry. Starts.
So starts.
The number of starts for him.
Starts.
Starts.
So he said 7 starts. How many starts do you think he gets?
12 minimum.
I mean, geez, Chuck, the way you were talking, you would have thought he was going to start the first day of minicamp.
The way you were...
And now you've already given him a 5 weeks for Kirk Cousins after you just said no chance.
The way you were talking, he was going to sit the entire year, and you got him giving 7 starts.
What an oversell.
Oh, please. You oversold out like crazy. He's not going to rush him in. He's going to watch him play. And you're giving him 7 starts.
Christmas, you threw
7 starts.
before
If
he
he's not
signed
going
his
to rush him in,
contract.
and they've got a confident guy, then he sits all year long.
They're showing water shots. They're showing water shots of the calm confluence.
I mean, if you're saying that they got Kirk Cousins and they're not going to play him, how do you get 7 starts?
Children on the dais.
By the way, Charles Davis, 100% right.
Oh,
You want to yell about it? You want to go?
interesting. So I listened to this. I actually listened to it twice. I ended up having to be the one to edit it. But you know what's interesting? I came to the same conclusion. He acts as if he's not going to play at all.
Right. And then you say he plays
And then he's
7
going to play
games.
7 games?
It's almost half of the season.
Almost, yeah.
Almost
it's right.
half the
It's
season.
right near the line.
Drake May, because I'm trying to think of...
See, that's the recipe. I think they go Drake May.
And I loved the narrative at the time was you can't put Drake May out there. He's not going to survive.
Right.
His offensive line's too bad.
Yeah.
Guess what he did? He built a lot of confidence, showed some flashes, and then really popped in year 2.
Right.
Isn't that funny how you get better playing football? Drake May ended up starting in week 6 for New England. That was the week that he went in. Now, he missed a game or he left a game after that and then came back the next week. But essentially, outside of one other week, I think they sat him maybe on the last week of the season because they were 3-13. I don't know if he was banged up or not. Joe Milton was their leading passer in that game. He ended up starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games that year.
Drake May did?
Drake May did for New England. He was the number 3 overall pick, not the number 1 overall pick.
So if I was to lay a bet, I actually think Davis is closer to right than Jeremiah. And I think Jeremiah is very plugged in.
No doubt about it. I just love this. There's no rush. This is the NFL, dude. When was the last time we had a number 1 quarterback go and not play for the first half of the season?
Oh,
The other
great
piece
question.
Of, the other piece of that is if Kirk Cousins is the starter game one, how long do we think he can last?
Well, yeah. I mean, how long?
I watched him
before
play
he-
last year. I didn't think he was good.
It's not good.
No.
He's 40 years old. He's off a torn Achilles. He's not like you want to say he's a culture locker room guy, like whatever. He could be a good mentor for him. But like how many games? That's just what New
Dude,
England
I'm going
did.
through it. So you got Winston started right away.
Right away.
Goff started. Did Goff start right away?
I believe he did, but I can go back and look at the game logs from that year. I don't remember who their other
quarterback
quarterbacks
in
were.
2015 for the Rams.
Littering and
Baker?
and
Baker didn't start right away.
Baker didn't start right
He
away.
came- but that was like week 2.
It was pretty early on.
Week
I remember
3.
him coming in on a Thursday night
The Jets game.
and led them to a comeback win, and he was the hero. And they were going to build
Did
a statue.
Kyler start right away, or did he do the veteran thing for a couple games too?
That's one I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember it being half of the year. I feel like that's a big storyline. If you think back to let me see his stats from how many games he played. His
Lawrence
rookie
started
year.
right away.
Yep.
I feel like Bryce Young did start right away, even though he got benched and then came back.
That I feel like you were correct. Let's see. I'm looking at
So
Jacoby
Baker
for a
took a
second.
couple weeks. We'll look up Kyler.
Kyler Murray, his rookie year, played in. Wait for it. Every game.
Okay.
20 touchdowns, 12 picks. He played in
There you go.
16 games. 2019.
Goff would be the other one I question.
I'll pull up Goff. Let's see what he did.
We know Luck started every game. Cam Newton set the record for most yards by a rookie quarterback in his first game.
Yeah, he was awesome his rookie year.
Yeah, dude, to your point.
This doesn't happen. That's I understand.
If it happens, it doesn't happen for very long.
No.
Baker, they were like, he's not going to start, he's not going to play.
Goff
And then by
might be your
week 2
example. Would have been 7 games. Now, I don't remember. He was so bad that I don't remember if he started and they sat him or if they waited.
Who was the other quarterback on that roster?
Let me bring up the 2016 LA Rams.
Because I think it would have been him playing at the end. Because that was still Fisher, right? Jeff
that was
Fisher?
still Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
2016 regular season.
I think that next year was the 7-9. Case Keenum.
Case Keenum was the other quarterback. 9 touchdowns, 11 picks for their quarterback room that year combined 14 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. That is so bad.
That was the next season was when we got the 7-9 bowl, right?
Yes,
'Cause it was Hard Knocks.
And then he got fired, and they brought in Goff, and Goff saved him. I'll see this. Let me pull up his game log real quick since we're on it from 2016.
Isn't that when we found out Goff thought the
It would have been Goff. Goff did not come in until looks like the middle of November.
Okay, there
he
you go.
started the last 7 games of the season, and he was really bad. And then finished the regular season. They lost every game.
You hired Kubiak. Kubiak clearly was going to write yay or nay on the quarterback selection. If he didn't, what are you doing?
Right.
Brady, although went through an experience, he's still like an owner who's not really all there. He's doing broadcasting. He's got all these other endeavors. I lean Charles Davis here. I think it's going to be closer to 12 than it is 7, and I also agree. The way he talked about him not playing, and then you say he's got to start 7 games.
It's a good chunk of your season. You're insinuating that he's not going to be in until the end of the year.
Like the last 3 weeks,
and that's
is what
just
I think.
ridiculous for a number 1 overall pick. If
I tend to agree.
Some other guys later in the first round or they get drafted later, maybe you can make that argument. Not the number 1 overall pick, dude. You're also in business. You're trying to sell tickets. You're trying to incentivize people to come. The Raiders are irrelevant. They've been terrible my entire life, essentially. This is how you number 1 overall pick, starting quarterback. Maybe first couple of games he won't be in. I'd give it 3 weeks and then he's our starter.
Speaking of number 1 overall quarterbacks and picks, is the next one in Eugene. Talk a little bit about that coming up next on 105.1 The Fan. We'll dive into the Blazers coming up at 7 a.m. It's a pivotal Game 5. Also, do we want to walk anything back in this regard? We'll talk about that. It's also
Mail Sack.
a Sparta TRT edition of the Mail Sack coming up in the final hour. Mail Sack questions are welcome at the fan text line, 503-864-6326. Seeing a lot of photoshopped images of your backup quarterback with a huge boiler. And it's like, there are a lot of Duck fans are the ones doing it, and I'm just like, whoa, what are we doing here?
I mean, I wouldn't blame them at all. If they come with a payday, like, by all means, do. Go be a starter at Texas Tech. I got no issues. We did this to him, though. Remember when Miami kind of struck out on everybody in the portal? And everybody thought, ooh, they're going to come call him probably
Mensa,
for
right?
Raiola. And they went Mensa instead, and they had to pay the fine or the fee or whatever. I don't know how the terminology works in those contracts because none of it is public knowledge, but they did it, and they got Mensa, and so it is possible that Texas Tech calls. That's a hard one to say no to, man. They're going to offer him a lot of money if they do.
Well, to a lot of social media Duck fans' points, might be being recruited as a defensive lineman with the way his... I finally saw it, by the way, what everybody's been talking about, and I was like, yeah, I'd just more say the jersey's a little tight.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always been a bigger guy.
I'm not surprised by it, but he's wearing the Kenyon Sadiq edition when you're built more like Anteater Johnson edition.
Yes, he's got a little, he's the round mound of rebound, if you will, of quarterbacks. He's got a little
Is there
large.
Baby Joey in that pocket? Or is that just what's been happening? I don't know. It's very odd to see the Photoshops.
It is very weird.
The guts are huge.
Making him look fat.
But the starting quarterback of your Oregon Ducks, Daniel Jeremiah, was asked, who would you take with the number 1 pick? And this was his answer.
You know what? I lean conservative, so I'm going to lean conservative, and I'll go with the Oregon quarterback over Arch. I'll go Dante Moore, just because I've seen him play at a higher level for a longer period of time. Arch has all the ability in the world, and I'm looking forward to really studying him. I've done more work because I thought Dante was coming out. I haven't done that full workup on Arch, so I'm covering myself there.
It's very interesting to think about, in a few months we're going to start diving in. We'll have fall camp, and then we got the season, and it's here, and it's a lot of expectation. But as we noted with last year's draft, or draft class potentially for this year's draft.
What we were saying a year ago, about this
just
year's
like
class.
kind of weeding out. Like everybody's just going to be all in on all of them, right? Arch is going to be the number 1 pick. No, it's going to be Dante. Dante's going to win the Heisman, be the number 1 pick.
Don't forget about guys like Sellers at South Carolina, who's
Don't
back
forget
for
about
another year.
USC's quarterback with Lincoln Riley. He has a pretty good track record of having a guy, get one of those trophies. So it's just interesting to think about the class. And will next year's draft deliver us quarterback conversation, or will it end up becoming a bit of a dud? And we're then debating, should they take the defensive edge rusher or the hybrid linebacker, or should they go offensive line? Like where we're going to be a year from now, and Dante Moore kind of at the forefront of that, where he's number 1 on a lot of mocks and number 2 on other ones.
Talk about putting on weight. I thought that was a takeaway of the spring game for me. He looked like he gained some weight in a good way, I would argue. Not that he was too lean or too skinny, but he looked better put together, if you will. And I think an offseason in the gym has helped him tremendously. I'm also somebody who, as the year went on last year, it's a difficult conversation because everybody has a hot take on the player. I'm also in on Arch Manning. I think he evolved as a guy from the beginning of the year, having to go on the road to Ohio State with more expectations on him than, since what high school quarterback have we put that level of pressure on, go perform? You're the heir apparent to a quarterback dynasty family. And that's not easy to live up to. And when you look at him from game 1 to where he was in game 12 of the season last year, I thought he grew a ton and evolved. I think they're better around him this year. They added weapons. They added running backs. His offensive line is going to be good. And Texas is not lacking for funding elsewhere on the roster. So I'm in on both guys. I think Dante, the only box he has to check in order to be the number 1 overall pick is playing better in bigger moments. He did early against Penn State, and we thought, hey, look at that. He can live up to the pressure and come up with big throws in overtime. And then Penn State's season crumbled, and he kind of lost the credit for that game. Was terrible in the first Indiana game, was terrible in the second Indiana game. And so he's just got to show, whether it's on the road at Ohio State, I don't know how many other games will actually fall into this category. Maybe it's USC early in the year, that when the lights are the brightest and you're playing a legitimate national title contender, that you can come up with big throws and lead your team to a win. Outside of that, he's got the arm strength. He's a smart kid. He's clean off the field. He checks every other box, size, strength, all of that. He just needs to play better in bigger games.
Yeah, there's no doubt, but part of that to me is about who you're playing, right? It's one thing to play a beat-up, terrible Oklahoma State team. It's another to play Ohio State, Indiana, fill in the blank, other big teams in college football. And to me, it's going to be about how he recognizes and deals with different coverage schemes. Because we saw that a couple times, right? Like Indiana, especially in Eugene.
I mean, the 2 Indiana games were a disaster for him.
Well, yeah, the second game was the worst, but the first one almost as close as it may have been in score. I thought there were a lot of things it looked like they were doing schematically that were kind of confusing him and making him second. Yeah, and so it's more to me about that is a big game by definition because it's a ranked team against a ranked team. But to me, it's more about the coverages and how you operate with different coverages and what they show you versus what they actually play. And
right.
I think it's those elements to me. Big games are absolutely a big part of that because you're going to get the better teams who know what they're doing in those instances. But how do you operate with different coverages and different pressures? And I think those are areas that were shaky to not very good for him last year.
Without a doubt. The tough part with evaluating these guys is how many teams and defenses will he play next year?
That's what I
that even have the ability to do that.
Well, if you're an NFL coach, that's what you're like, crap.
Ohio State for sure.
Yep.
Maybe a Big Ten championship game. Maybe a play.
Yep.
There's not a lot of them that you can pick from where there's elite players on the other side in a good scheme. Indiana certainly had both of those, and it was really tough for him last year. He's got everything working for him around him, though. The wide receiver room is probably the best in school history. 2 young backs are back. Offensive line will be a question, and they'll probably answer that early in the year. But that'll be something we'll linger on through the offseason. But he's got every other thing checked. It's just tough because you really only have 1 or 2 games you can evaluate how it actually translates to the NFL.
We have a loaded second hour. The Blazers have a pivotal game 5, and hey, turns out you can learn from mistakes. I'll tell you what we're talking about to kick off hour 2, Dirt and Sprague on 105.1 The Fan.
Download it.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers season on the brink of extinction tonight in San Antonio. Will it be their last stand by the Alamo? Game 5, trailing the Spurs 3-1. 6:30 tip on ESPN. Portland 12.5-point underdogs. The Oklahoma City Thunder, first team to get to the conference semifinals, completing a sweep of the Suns with a 131-122 Game 4 win. The 1 seed in the East is on the brink of elimination. They dropped Game 4 to the Magic in Orlando, 94-88. They're down 3-1. The Nuggets took advantage of all the injuries the Timberwolves are dealing with. 125-113. They take Game 5. They avoid elimination, going back to Minnesota for Game 6 on Wednesday. Also from the NBA, Cooper Flagg became the second youngest player to win the Rookie of the Year award behind LeBron James, barely edging former college teammate Con Kniffel in the second closest voting since the current voting went into place in 2002-2003. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the fan happy.
All right, welcome back in hour number 2. Dirt and Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. That would be also called the Portland Sports Leader. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is a beautiful Mail Sack Tuesday. We have a lot to get to today.
Yes, we do.
An hour from right now, we will be talking to the one and only Greg Oden.
That Greg Oden.
Greg Oden.
Number 1 overall pick, Greg Oden.
I did not have anywhere on my career card talking to Greg Oden.
No, one of the more random texts we've ever gotten from the boss. Hey, you guys want to have Greg Oden on next week? Sure.
Yeah, so how it came up, I was staying back a little longer. You had just left, and I was about to leave myself. Got to the door, Brandman calls me, and I'm like, oh no.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
And you know what he's doing? I don't know if he knows he's doing this or he's doing it on purpose, but he's starting almost every conversation when he calls now with, hey, do you got a minute?
Yeah, a little purpose
And
pitch.
I'm
He's
like,
going high and tight with you, just to keep you on your toes. You're not quite sure what's coming.
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
What if I say no?
No, I don't have a minute.
Anyways, hey, you got a minute? And I'm like, actually, I'm still here. I can't find my car keys. In fact, I know where I left them. And I turn around, and he had just been walking back to where I was leaving. And he goes, hey, I was talking to so-and-so, and Greg Oden's going to be here in August. And I was like, Greg Oden, huh? And he goes, you want to interview him? And I was like, sure. Not thinking at all it would be today.
This is the day it's happening.
And then he texts us not long after and was like, Greg Oden confirmed Tuesday, 8 a.m. And we're like, whoa. All right.
Let's do it. Will this become our Troy Aikman? We'll find out because we don't have a phone number for him. He has our phone number. So he has to remember to call us.
It would be funny if it was our Troy Aikman.
Just say, Greg Oden's going to be on the show, and he doesn't end up being on the show. I still own a Greg Oden jersey, man. I still got it.
Do you?
I thought about rocking it on Friday when I went to the game.
Did you wear a jersey to the game?
I couldn't find my Roy jersey. I don't know what bog I couldn't. So I ended up wearing Sheed. Sheed was my choice.
Sheed's a good choice.
Sheed's a good choice.
Yeah.
I got Sheed, I got B. Roy, and Oden were my candidates that are still wearable, and I chose Sheed.
I think it says something about you if you choose a Sheed jersey after the Jailblazer doc.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
You know, you're a counterculture guy.
One of us, man. One of us. Let's go smoke some weed, Sheed.
Sure. Yeah, because that's what that means.
It's legal now, Sheed. It's legal.
So we'll talk with Greg Oden coming up at 8, and then as we mentioned, we have the mail sack in the final hour. You can get your mail sack questions, which is basically a Ask Us Anything at 503-864-6326. We have a pretty pivotal Game 5, I would say, Andrew.
This is it. This is some people would say, must-win game.
The whole enchilada.
It's all comes to all the marbles on the line.
Do the
tonight.
Spurs get their last bite of the old enchilada? Right. We'll have to wait and find out.
I love enchiladas.
Enchiladas are amazing, and I will fully admit to you, with no shame, although I've been shamed by one of my best friend's wives, I buy the canned red sauce.
I got no issue with it.
I go green sauce once in a while. Just did a green sauce enchilada about 2 weeks ago, but mainly we go canned red sauce. Whereas my friend who is Mexican, him and his wife,
just laughs at that.
They shame me.
Yeah.
And like, why would you not home make it? And I'm like, because I've never learned.
I don't have the time on my hands, potentially, too.
Yeah, the red sauce is elite.
I do that with curry sometimes, too. Like, the idea of making it is great, and then it's like, that's, Or
you
I
do
could
it with
just
white rice.
open it up, pour it in. Guess what's going to be ready in 20 minutes? Curry.
You don't want to home make your curry.
It's a little bit easier that way sometimes, man.
Before we get to the game, I'd like to talk about learning.
Oh.
I'm a big person that likes to learn. Okay, I'm learning yesterday about sugars. I'm reading on the National Geographic website all these health things. Are collagens real? Do they actually help? So I like to learn. And all I like to do is allow people the opportunity to learn. Now, when people choose not to learn anymore and they stick on one side of an issue, even when they're proven wrong and they refuse to admit it, I start to drift away. I no longer want to engage. I have no interest.
There's no point.
You can be wrong. You can be right. I don't really care as long as you're willing to admit what is truth.
Yeah. There's a lot of debates that you have with people, and then it's like, yeah, you know what? This is going nowhere, so I'm not going to waste my time and energy.
And in the span of, looks at watch, 3 weeks, we've gone from, hey, new owner, this is kind of cool. Blazers have felt kind of in limbo since Paul died. It's been a blanket ownership situation.
We all knew she eventually had to sell.
Here comes Tommy Two Nickels, and here comes Sheil Tile and Andrew Churng and Rip City. What is it? The Rip City Rising?
Rip City Rising.
Right. So here comes the new ownership group. Hey, we liked the press conference. He's pretty to the point. He wants to win. He cares about the experience of the fans. Well, since then, it's only morphed into, look how cheap this bastard is. And it's been pretty negative. We talked a lot about Tom Dundon. At the beginning of this series, you may recall, famously, it was reported Tom Dundon was not going to pay and allow the two-way guys to go on the road with the Blazers.
The 3 guys you have. Caleb Love's the only one I know. The other 2 names I'd never heard before.
The two-way guys, and for every other team, goes on the road. We were the only team in the NBA playoffs not doing that.
Yep.
And so that report came out, and it was one of many to highlight how cheap this guy was.
That was one I think universally, too. No matter what side of a debate you're on, you're like, yeah, you should do that. Like, why?
Right, that's
why,
not really
That's
saving
not a
you
controversial
anything. Yes.
topic. It's not a hot take. You send your guy. Caleb Love helped you win some games this year. Put him behind the bench in the playoffs.
You have that money in your pocket, sir.
Yes.
Okay? We all agreed on that.
There's a seat on the plane.
But because of that and many other stories, you had a lot of grand conclusions. And all my point was to highlight, one, how I didn't like certain elements of it, but also to say, can we wait and see? Is there any element of wait and see? And some people wanted to yell at you and tell you, no, you're a moron. It will never change. And lo and behold, it comes out. Guess who's going on the road for Game 5?
Hey, look at that. They're on the plane.
Tommy Two Nickels.
We found a room for them.
He's moved up to Tommy
Now,
Two Dimes.
Do you think they're all staying in the same room to say one's on a hideaway bed, one's on the cot or the couch, one's on the actual bed?
It'd be funny if the two-way guys were at like a Motel 6.
They're down the street in a Motel 6, 2 twin beds in the room.
Same plane, same bus.
They got to split an Uber to get
split
to
an
the
Uber to
arena.
get to the team bus for you. You're gonna play rock paper scissors. Who gets to share the twin bed?
See, I can joke about it, but all I'm saying is,
yes,
we have to be careful here with these defining who people are. Now, I'm not saying he's suddenly not cheap. He's still Tommy Two Nickels.
Yes, he is.
But for one of the big stories that came out about him and the outrage in which it was becoming in the league and around the circles of the league, hey, a week and a half later, look who's learned. Tom Dundon is now paying for the two-way guys to go on the road. You can say, well, who cares? It's like, well, but if your opinion was this guy will never change, cheapskate, it's only going to get worse from here, but then he backtracks on that element, you have to also be willing to change.
You say that's not the case.
With the new information. And just to simply point out that, oh, look, people clearly got to him, clearly talked to him, and he said, okay, fine. I'll spend the extra 20 G's or whatever it costs for 3 guys to go on the road with the team.
I don't even think it's that much, but I don't know how much it all
ballparking.
costs. Sure, I totally get it. The other point, too, I think that's important to remind people of is that in Quick's article that came out, was that last week, I think? I don't know. It's all a blur. But I think it was last week, basically highlighting, too, that we don't even know where the directive came from. There was a directive from the top inside the organization to say, let's save some money. Find areas that you can save money. There was no reporting out there that says Tom Dundon called the travel agency or whoever's in charge of booking the Blazers trips and said Caleb Love will not be on that flight. We're saving the money on that.
Sure,
it just came from somewhere. Now it might have. I'm not saying it didn't come directly.
There was no ties.
Couldn't have done it. There was no direct ties to it, and so I think this is part of the evolving with a new owner who's never done this before in this league. I think he's learning rapidly how much different it is from the NHL. He's learning how different the microscope is on what he's doing. Not a lot of people watch or follow hockey on a close level. Far more people are talking and following the NBA. These people in these circles love to have conversations and gossip, and things go on the rumor mill, and it kind of takes on a life of its own. My ultimate point the entire time, no matter how many of these different headlines get thrown at you about Dundon and his cheap actions, are as long as he is investing in winning, that's all ultimately that matters to me in terms of what is the product on the floor and how invested is he in building that product, acquiring the right players, signing players, paying over the luxury tax if necessary. That's ultimately what matters most to me as a fan. And I think there's been 2 cases so far that have popped up that I would agree of saying, all right, dude, that didn't make a lot of sense based on the MO that you gave when you were hired that you care ultimately about winning. And they were, 1, the masseuse snafu on the road in Phoenix of checking out and can they get massages, and that impacts your team potentially.
Yep.
And then the idea of sending G League guys because it's just good for culture. Caleb Love helped you win games this year. It's not about them playing in the game. They're not going to.
Also doesn't really save you anything.
No, and at the end of the day, it's such a marginal move that it just makes you look bad, and it erodes a little bit of the fabric inside your locker room that's not necessary to do. And so those are the only 2 that stood out to me in the last couple of weeks of that doesn't make sense in terms of how it helps winning. And he's already gone back on one of the 2. Now, I don't know what the update is on the masseuse and if they can stay in their hotel room a little bit longer. We'll wait and see for that report. But if that ends up happening, I think that's been our only takeaway or our main argument over the last 2 weeks is that let's see how it evolves. Let's see how he learns. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. He's going to hit a pothole occasionally because this is the first time he's going through it.
Yeah.
And as long as those mistakes are fixed and corrected, that's all that I can ask for at this point as a fan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think you nailed it. It's allowing, I really view this. It's such an odd thing, I think, for the fan base, the city, and the media. It's all one big group right now. And the funny thing is, we've literally had a media member on admitting how cush everything's been. And because things were changing, it's now suddenly shift to, well, he's the worst person to ever exist. Now,
worst owner in sports.
Yeah. Now, we're still going through the negotiation with the city, the county part. But, we got the state funding yesterday. Tina Kotek was at the Moda Center with some legislators, and they signed, and it was a big, photo op, and this is a big priority for her. And I know I've seen the comments. I know how a lot of people in this city feel about funding for billionaires in arenas and all that stuff. I totally get it.
Yeah. Put your Blazer pin on, go sign that bill. It's about $400 million, just shy of that.
I thought it was 365. Is
365.
What I read. 365
from
the state,
400.
And I know Wilson is anchoring to give him another 120, and
from
then
the city, and then
continually funding
from the county.
$14 million. Yeah, and then so they're trying to get close to the $600 million figure, right? And so that's become its own debate. But because of that, the lease question marks that we have, where it doesn't expire until 2030, and is it a 20? Is it a 25? Where's that going to go? Is he doing this whole thing to keep us hostage so he could just take us to fill in the blank city? All that's popped back up. You pair it with the cheap stories of the masseuse checking out at a standard time instead of being late, and now the two-way guy is not able to go. I'm not telling you he's going to change and suddenly not be cheap. It's just to simply say, sometimes you got to breathe a little bit. And I get the texts, I read the articles, and I'm hearing constantly about how cheap this guy is. And I'm like, yeah. And when I hear a new cheap story, I'm to the point now where I respond, yeah, he's cheap. Yep. Okay. Did he nix the big trade? If that happens and he's like, I'm not paying anything for this roster.
We're not going over the luxury tax.
Then we hammer him.
Yes.
If he's going to hold us hostage to the city to move us, or he's not going to add to the roster to make it improve and get better.
Try and tweak things and change things.
Yeah, dude, absolutely annihilate it. And that's where I think it's the most fair. But jumping on concluding somebody is something and they'll never be anything else in every facet, that is the mistake. And so it's small. It's not a big detail. None of us really know or even care when the two-way guys are there.
I would have had no idea. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know they went. I had no until this story came out. As somebody who casually follows basketball,
Right.
I had no idea that they were all going to be there or should be there.
And people around basketball would respond, well, yeah, but in that league, in those circles, it's a big deal. Okay, cool.
Okay.
And now he's doing it.
Now he's doing it.
So
They're there.
walking anything back, or are we just going to continue to talk about how he'll never change and he's the cheapest, POS of all time? I think there's context to almost everything, and I think it's been utterly ridiculous how we've latched on so quickly. I said this before, I'll say it again. He's the new person at your school, and we're all sitting at the table gossiping instead allowing any room for us to get to know the person. Now, there are elements of it that are like, yo, actually is a bad boy with a motorcycle and a tattoo. But was he doing crystal meth with somebody's mom at the last school? Well, right now, that's rumor mill stuff. We'll have to wait and see if he offers us the crystal meth.
He's into the hard drugs.
We're just,
baby.
it's so, the NBA to me at times as a big basketball fan, it's so disgustingly gossipy. And there's parts of it that I absolutely hate. And the Tom Dundon stuff, we have a new owner for the first time in all of our lives.
Yes.
And we're freaking the F out over every single element. Oh, it's going to give us a towel, not a T-shirt, even though none of us wear the T-shirt.
Right, it's going to go directly in the dumpster bin when you leave the arena.
Cool, man. Were you cheering at the game or not? That's all I care about.
Were you loud? Was it fun? Did we have a home playoff game? That's all that mattered, man.
Two-way guys, go.
I think making the correction on mistakes is a big part of life, and Dundon doing that is a great step in the right direction, and we just continue to evaluate as it goes on. You're not going to get a grandiose statement on this show about what it will or won't be. It's more of a, let's just see how this thing evolves, take a deep breath, look up in July, and say, okay, where are we at right now with our new owner?
To your point, too, and I know we're against it, to your point, like, this was the reason... Because I've had a lot of listeners reach out and message about this. I've had people ask me about this. I've talked about it with other people off the record. And it's very interesting, like, just the feel and the buzz of it all. To your point, the reason we don't go harder is mainly because what if this summer they go and get a player of real note, make a big trade that they haven't made before, and we look at the roster and we go, holy crap, dude, if certain teams fall off a little bit here, we were already the 7th seed. Can we jump now? Are you going to be in August, September bashing the cheapness? Or are you going to go, holy crap, they finally did something? Like every year,
for the first time in my life, they've tried an aggressive trade.
Yeah. And then what do you say? So then those people with the anti-Dundon stuff, you're just going to walk that back and look like an idiot.
Right.
I want to do as many things as I can to not look like an idiot because I'm already an idiot.
I wake up every day telling myself, try not look like an idiot today.
And then we end up looking like idiots in a lot of ways, but every day it's a goal.
I mean, if he swallows a massive luxury tax bill and ends up paying market value for a head coach.
And they're a 4 seed next year with like sneaky contention, vibes and... Yeah, dude.
No guarantee we get there either. Let's just wait and see how this thing plays out. A nice step in the right direction for Dundon.
We got a Game 5. We can talk about that. Are the Blazers going to be eliminated tonight? We'll discuss that next. Hour 2 rolls on 105.1 The Fan. It's a Sparta TRT Mail Sack Tuesday, so get those mail sack questions in at 503-864-6326. You can also put them in on the old YouTube chat or social media if you so choose. We will get to that today in the final hour. Greg Oden's going to join us, we think, in 40 minutes.
Yeah, Greg Oden.
Kind of wait and see on that one, TBD.
What we've been told.
What we've been told.
Fingers crossed.
It's not that I don't want to talk to Greg Oden. It's more like I'm kind of hoping you are right, that we have the no call, and then forever we just get to be like, hey, Greg Oden's going to be on the show today.
I mean, it could become a funny bit on the show. If he doesn't call us, you got to turn it into content somehow, because we've told the people we have Greg Oden on the show at 8 o'clock.
So we'll get to that. But Blazers have a Game 5 tonight in San Antonio. Do or die, as you said earlier, and I think I checked that you're right.
Check the math on me.
Must-win game for your Portland Trail Blazers.
Some people are arguing must-win game tonight.
Game 4 did not go well in the second half. They were outscored by 38 points, and it's the worst loss from a halftime on standpoint. The first team in NBA history to be down by 15-plus points and lose the game by 15-plus points. So that was great. We made history that way.
Speaking of Caleb Love, man, we could use a couple of buckets. Can he suit up tonight? I'd rather play him than Matisse Thybulle right now.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay? I if they win tonight, what's your shock meter out of a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being, oh
my God, I've never been more surprised in my life.
Effing goodness, they won this game.
If they are to win tonight in San Antonio, and everybody says like Wemby doesn't smack his head on the floor
There's
again.
nothing that happens injury-wise. They just play and they win.
7.4 on the Richter scale.
Really?
Yeah.
Swag.
8.5.
Yeah, I'm bumping it to 9, dude.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know
They're
if
12.5-point dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they roll over and completely die.
I don't think so.
No, I think they'll be feisty.
I think that second half performance was personally, I think each one of them like, I can't go out like that.
The hard part I have with the NBA, because I agree with everything you're saying, is that it's a make or miss league. Breaking news: you got to make shots to win a game. I don't know if you know that.
That's true.
And you just get a game where like they went on the road in Denver a couple of weeks ago and made more 3-pointers than they have ever had in the history of the franchise.
Yeah. Right.
Ever.
And that could
now,
happen.
They lost the game. They blew an 18-point lead in the second half.
Another 18-point lead.
Precursor to what's happening in the playoffs, but it's just like you have games where randomly like, oh, okay, we're just not going to miss tonight. All right, where'd that come from?
Right.
That's the weird part about. They're not going to win the series. The series is over, but that's why I would put it at 7.4.
You know, Tracy McGrady once famously said, "It's great to get to the second round when his team was up 3-1, and how'd that go? Huh?
Yeah.
The series is over, bud."
Epic comeback.
Maybe I need to put my Blazer honk glasses on right now and wear
How
them.
dare you doubt us? How dare you count us out tonight, huh?
I also have a very hard time forgetting how that second half looked, and
Which one?
Well,
do you want to go with? You want to do Friday second half or Sunday second half?
Sunday second half.
Sunday second half. Okay,
started sooner.
Friday's was
that it did, but Sunday's first half was better.
Yes.
Yes, but Friday's was not good because it was a rookie and a second-year cat doing it to
and
you.
Wemby was not
and
in the
Wemby
lineup.
Wasn't out.
Their best
Wemby was
player
out.
was not playing in the game.
But it was a terrifying, I mean utterly terrifying of, oh man, they have unlocked nastiness in a way that we hadn't seen in the series yet. They beat us in game 1, and Wemby was great. Then he gets hurt in game 2. We end up coming back and winning that one. And game 3 is heartbreaking in many ways. Game 4 was like, oh, you think you're on this level?
There we go.
Let us show you what the level looks like. And it was like,
say bye-bye to your 19-point lead. Bye-bye.
Like it was nothing.
If they don't have a different plan of attack or something different in those pick and rolls with Wemby so he doesn't get
What's the plan, though? That's the thing with Wemby.
I don't know.
How do you...
We're done with the adjustments. The adjustments is you either go the hiking route and make a starting lineup change, and that's kind of it, dude. By this point of a series, the whole adjustment stuff is done. Everybody knows the sets. Everybody knows what each other are doing. They know who their strengths are. They know where the weaknesses are. There aren't adjustments. This is, tonight, it is point blank to Dirt's point. Make your damn shots.
You're going to be open from 3 all night because they're not going to guard you out there.
Make them uncomfortable deep into the fourth quarter and cross your fingers and pray. This is not is Thiago going to win us? Like, this isn't that. That's not how this sport works. So it's like,
not to mention their
the
best
adjustment
player.
stuff is done.
You can't. How do you adjust against Wemby?
You can't.
He's 7'4".
They've done everything they can. They've put Drew on him. They've put Tumani. They've put Donovan. And I said this. I really felt this way watching Sunday. I thought in the first two, and game one was awesome, and I think game two is probably going to end up being pretty good till he smacked his face on the floor. Mm-hmm. He has felt a little rushed. He has felt a little out of control. He's trying to do too much. Second half Wemby was just
dominant.
Measured, dominant. I know what I am. I know what I do well. Here it is. I'm going to disrupt everything defensively, and on offense, I'm not forcing stupid threes anymore. I'm not trying to do ridiculous spin moves on guards that are 6'2", who are just going to pull the chair out.
Yeah. He took like a 40-footer at one point on Sunday. Wemby, buddy.
He shot for the logo.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm set screen, roll, get the ball, or set screen, off the screen, roll, get the action, get the lob, easy bucket. Like, that's all he did Sunday, and it was tone setting, and it was like, there it is. That's the guy I thought we'd see all playoff. The guy before had some great moments, but I thought was a little rushed, a little out of control, a young player experiencing the playoffs for the first time.
Yeah, man, I like the idea of Robert Williams in the starting lineup because of the way he's played. I think it's more impactful offensively because Donovan can't hit the broadside of a barn right now, and so you get some rolls from Williams, some dunks. He can create some of those chances for you, but defensively, there's nothing you could do against Wemby. When he gets going downhill that way and they're lobbing it up to him, like, it's just good luck, man. Throw your hands up. He's going to block a ton of shots. He's going to have a ton of dunks, and I don't really know what adjustments can be made at this point in the series. You just got to have a night where all your guys offensively who have had bad shooting series somehow find their stroke. And if that doesn't happen, this is a blowout San Antonio runaway freight train, cover the 12.5 or 11.5 or whatever the number is.
There was something in the NBA playoffs last night that got my gears going in regards to our Portland Trail Blazers, and I want to throw it at you. So we'll get to that coming up next on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Laurel Horse Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Great spot for any occasion. Don't forget you save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus and more at laurelhorsemarket.com. First on The Fan, indeed, the Blazers face elimination in San Antonio tonight, Game 5 of their first-round playoff series against the Spurs after they blew halftime leads in both games 3 and 4. 6:30 tip on ESPN. Portland 12.5-point underdogs. Top-seeded OKC Thunder were the first team to advance to the conference semifinals, sweeping the Suns with a 131-122 Game 4 victory. In the East, the 1 seed now in trouble, losing Game 4 to the Magic in Orlando, 94-88, and they're down 3-1. The Nuggets taking advantage of the injury-riddled Timberwolves, winning Game 5, 125-113. They avoid elimination, go back to Minnesota, down 3-2 for Game 6. Former Oregon State Beaver and number 1 overall draft pick Travis Bazzana expected to make his major league debut today for the Cleveland Guardians at second base. They take on the Tampa Bay Rays. 3:10 first pitch this afternoon. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the
All right, welcome back in. Very quickly, a side note from my tease. Is it like utterly amazing that since March 18th, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 7 of 18 from the field in the fourth quarter or overtime?
7 of 18 from the field. He's only taken 18 shots.
In the fourth quarter and overtime since March 18th.
That's over a month ago.
Yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 17 for 18.
Oh, 17 for 18.
Yeah.
He's only missed one shot.
Only missed one shot in the fourth quarter or overtime since March 18th.
I find it more crazy that he's only taken 18 shots in the fourth quarter of games in a month.
As you've seen, they don't need to play a lot of fourth quarters.
Play a lot of fourth quarters. Go ahead and sit down, buddy. Thanks for coming, Phoenix. See you later.
I'm looking forward to it. These two teams hate each other. I think they're repeating. I don't think that's a hot take to have at this point.
I mean, Indiana damn near knocked him off last year, so you never say never. So did Denver. They pushed him in the second round all the way to 7, but I tend to agree with you. Outside of San Antonio, I don't think there's anybody with a puncher's chance in the Western Conference.
So I'm keeping an eye on the NBA playoffs last night. I didn't particularly watch them very closely. And, you see Minnesota get blown out by Denver in the last game.
They hung tough for the first half, and then it got out of hand in the third quarter. They're just shorthanded.
Phoenix gets swept, so that series is a wrap. But the first game that you got was Detroit and Orlando. And Orlando looking to go up 3-1, and, okay, here I am on the show thinking, I think Detroit responds tonight. And it continues to look the exact same way every time. And Cade Cunningham has 24 turnovers in his last 3 games.
Not good. I believe that's an NBA playoff record for a 3-game stretch.
It's not been good whatsoever. Now, there's an element of that game that my brain goes to of Blazers. And so the Pistons fall to the 8th-seeded Orlando Magic. Coincidentally, Magic were up 3-1 against the Pistons in 2003.
They were.
When the quote I said of Team X saying it's going to be nice to be in round 2, they lost the series. They blew it.
3 in a row.
But 4 of the last 5 8 seeds to be up 3-1 against the 1 have won the series outright.
Watching Orlando play basketball just doesn't make a lot of sense. They don't seem to have any strategy. They're horrible offensively. They take some of the worst shots you ever see.
They lost Franz Wagner last night.
And then you're just like, how did you win?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Is this an Orlando thing or a Detroit thing? I'm a little confused.
I think this is a Detroit thing, and I had noted this early in the season when Detroit was off to this rip-roaring start. We were doing like all-star game, we were at the all-star weekend of like, what are your picks now, flip it or stick it type stuff. I still didn't have Detroit. I wasn't a big believer. I think it's a great story, but I was always concerned about their offense, even as good as their record was. This is going to be one of the worst all-time flameouts in NBA history because you're a 60-game winner and you're getting absolutely big-boyed by a team that nobody thought would even make the playoffs based on how they looked at the very end of the year.
They almost didn't make the playoffs through the play-in, and they're just waiting to fire their head coach.
But the element of Detroit that got my gears going on our Blazers, who play tonight, is we know this team needs offense. It's been one of the biggest problems for the Blazers this year. But it begs the question that Detroit is currently going through right now, and we're in a similar spot down 3-1 ourselves. The guys on your roster, how much will they improve or change versus sometimes you have to make uncomfortable decisions with guys that everybody loves because there's a ceiling to it.
Yes.
And I think Detroit is absolutely, as a 1-seed winning 60 games, I think they're going to make big decisions this offseason. They should.
They have to. If you lose this series, you don't come back and win, you have to.
Like Jalen Duren's a good example of this. Jalen Duren's better than Donovan Clingan. He made an all-star game this year. He's been their number 2 guy largely the whole year. He's been awful in this series. And it's because his offensive game's not good.
No.
You know who else is struggling right now? Donovan Clingan. Because he doesn't have an offensive game.
Right.
You look around, you got Asur Thompson, the twin brother of Amen Thompson.
Phenomenal athlete, great defender.
Probably going to make all NBA defensive team this year.
What can he do to save his life? Make a shot when he needs to.
He can't make a shot. He can't shoot. Yeah. He's struggling from the field. Now, slightly better guy from the regular season, but who's also struggling, who's an all-NBA guy. So I'm not sitting here telling you Portland, if they lose tonight, needs to trade Donovan Clingan and Tamani. It's just simply because of what's happening from Detroit. You've got national NBA writers that are like, you really have to evaluate this, and the takeaway is there's a premier amount that you should be putting in on offense. Defense is great. It's great to have an all-defensive guy. You look at the Warriors. They had an all-defensive – they had a couple of them with Clay and Dre. You don't not want them out there, but you're seeing a premium in the NBA is the offense. It's having the shot creators, the guys who hit the open shots, and now you're seeing a couple examples of – 2 of our 5 guys playing can't literally do anything on offense.
Nope, and your best player is turning the ball over a ton because he feels like probably he has to do everything by himself the entire night. I mean, you go back to game 1 of the series that they lost at home. I go back and look. I want to say he had like 37 points in game 1, and they lost by like double digits. He was outstanding, and it wasn't enough. And so he feels like he has to create for everybody else because nobody else can create their own shot. He has to score 30, and it's just a lot of pressure that goes on one player's shoulders. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday reacting to the weekend where it kind of felt like deja vu for Blazer fans because the last time, I know not specifically in the playoffs because we had the bubble year and then the Denver series and CJ stepped out of bounds. But when we were in the conference finals, it was you're building a double-digit lead and it's evaporating against a team who doesn't even have their best player. And what plagued a lot of those Portland teams come playoff time, it was you had Damian Lillard, who was an absolute star and a bona fide scorer at every level, especially in the postseason. Outside of that, CJ'd have good games here or there.
You get some CJ games.
He'd have some big games here or there. Guess who's not guarding Al-Farouq Aminu?
Right.
Guess who's not guarding Mo Harkless?
Right.
And so it's an idea that you watch Portland sometimes offensively, and it feels like you're almost playing 5-on-4. That Klingon, you want to stand out there? Go ahead, buddy. Shoot all you want.
Dude, I'd argue
Kamara, you want to shoot?
Yeah.
Go ahead, dude.
I'd argue in this series there's been many possessions based on the numbers, and that's all I can go off of. How you perform right now is all I can react to. It's been more 5-on-3 than 5-on-4.
With your starting lineup in particular.
Tamani's averaging like 8 or 7 points. I looked it up, by the way. You know who he's playing like? Which I'm not saying this is who he's going to be his whole career.
Do it.
He's Tony Allen.
Yeah.
Remember the opinions of Tony Allen in the playoffs?
A very good defender, but what always held him back?
Go look at the Tony Allen playoff numbers. I looked them up yesterday. Actually, Tony Allen had double-digit years in terms of scoring. Sure. This is Tamani's first go-around. I'm not saying this is his definition, but he's having a Tony Allen 8 points a game, 30% from the 3, not a factor at all offensively series, and you pair that with Donovan, I'd say there's many possessions. It feels like they're playing 5-on-3.
Yes.
And
because there's no need to guard those guys. And when that's the case, you know what it makes it harder for? Everybody else.
Yeah.
Denny, guess what? You're getting everybody thrown at you.
Life's been harder at Denny the last
Drew
couple
Holiday,
games.
you're a guy who has a pulse offensively.
Yeah.
We're going to make life hard for you. All right, let's take Scoot out of the game, picks up a couple early fouls, doesn't get in the normal rhythm. He literally doesn't score a point.
Well, and then Scoot can have those moments too, where then it's like it's almost 2-on-5 because Denny can score, but he still gets a lot of bodies. And Drew Holiday, right? Outside of Robert Williams getting dunk lobs, who on the team? It's Denny, it's Drew, and then it's
Scoot.
Yeah, he just went over.
And he went over in one of the games.
So I think it's not just like a 5-on-3. It almost, to a certain degree at times, especially with this Spurs team, it's felt like an 8-on-2. And it's just brutal to go through. And Detroit's experiencing this firsthand as a 1 seed with 60 games. We're only a 7 seed. It's our first year in the playoffs. This is what it's kind of Dundon-esque of, be careful just saying like never to a lot of guys. I'm not saying it's Donovan. I'm not saying it's Tamani. But if they make a move that's the right move, then great. Let's recalculate how we feel about all this. But you can also find yourself as good as you think you are in a situation if certain guys are going to be what they are offensively. You're stuck in really tough spots, I think, from a decision-making standpoint.
It's also a gamble, too, and a conservative way to bank on, and Detroit's learning this, internal development. Look how good he's been early in his career. I think he can go here as a player.
Right.
When that's not always the model that this follows. Sometimes guys just who they are. Maybe Thompson's just a good defender who's never going to develop an offensive game.
That seems to be what him and his brother are
that can make him a high-level difference maker in the NBA. And you got a lot of young players right now. You're asking that question about Kamara.
You are asking that question about Kamara.
Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson. Like you go down the list of guys who are playing minutes for you in the playoffs, some of them in the start, 3 or 4 of them in the starting lineup, and you're asking the question, where does it go? And just because you think there's flashes or moments, it doesn't mean he's going to turn into X, Y, and Z. And so I'm just glad we're in a spot now. This goes back to the ownership conversation. Nobody on this roster should be untouchable. Denny is the most of them, but nobody should. You don't have anybody who is, we can't move this piece in any way, shape, or form. And I know fans fall in love with guys and they don't want to see guys traded, but sometimes you got got to rock the boat a little bit in order to get where you want to go.
But also, luckily for them, they've got enough guys to say, we like these pieces. Everything else is up in the air.
Yeah, but if somebody's going to make an offer, or you're making an offer for a player that's going to maybe put you into a different tax bracket, and I would say, all right, I'm willing to part ways with said player.
Right, like who has more value between these three players, Scoot, Shaden, or Tamani?
Probably Tamani.
Right, if you're an NBA
Probably.
GM, what, he's on a 4-year 82?
4-year, $82 million, so
He's
the
made
contract's
All-NBA.
affordable. He's made an All-NBA defensive team.
Yep.
Like 3-and-D, like that probably has the highest value.
3-and-D guy.
But this playoff series has not helped his case. He's been really bad offensively.
Yeah, well, Shaden's been unplayable.
He's
so,
unplayable. He's playing 13 minutes a game.
And Scoot's had some great moments, certainly, but the 0 for night was rough. Yep. So, yeah, that's all I'm highlighting is just you see another team in the East and much more accomplished this regular season than you, and they're going the hard way of like, damn, dude, like offense is a premium. We're also dealing with it. Pivotal game 5 tonight, man. I hope Donovan has a big breakout game. I hope Tamani hits shots, but
build some confidence because I think you're
right
going to lose the game
great.
No matter what. Try and build a little confidence that you can carry into next season. That would be nice to see offensively from those guys.
We got Greg Oden hopping on the show at the top of the hour. Dirt and Sprague 7:45. We're back on the Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up?
Do not go in there.
A sports lowlight, ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshomservices.com.
Things like that, things I do best is not being able to make plays for my team. They killed us on the offensive glass. Our defense didn't hold up. So all that stuff, we're all frustrated with all that stuff. So you got to fix it, you got to come back better.
That's deep voice Kate Cunningham. I could barely understand what he's saying. The voice was so deep. Detroit scoring a season-low 88 points. They trail 3-1, and Detroit in this series absolutely stinking it up.
Yeah, I know at times in the past we've had debates about how aggressive do you want to be with young teams. OKC, a good example, 2 years ago, losing in the playoffs, keeping it together, then winning a title. Detroit is not that.
This feels much different.
If you lose in the first round of the playoffs, dude, you got to do something this offseason.
No doubt about it. Detroit stinking it up, brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Now through the end of April at Three Mountains Home Services, install a tankless water heater and they'll include a free water softener. Enjoy warmer showers. Say goodbye to hard water. Call or visit threemountainshomservices.com and schedule your appointment today.
her Catwoman suit.
All right, welcome back in. Greg Oden's going to be on the show, we think, at the top of the hour. Want to remind you to join us June 23rd as Toyota presents the Fan Golf Classic out at Langdon Farms Golf Club. Foursomes are on sale now between the morning and afternoon rounds. We'll all be hanging out at the infamous Angels Envy Bourbon Par 3 6th hole, and we'll feed you with Matt's Barbecue. Oh, cannot wait for that brisket. That brisket's so damn good.
Let it melt in your mouth, man.
It really does. Head to 1051thefan.com. Click on the Fan Golf Classic logo for info to sign up today. The rounds go pretty quick, and the Fan Golf Classic is presented, of course, by Toyota. It's also brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction, Henderson and Daughter Windows and Doors, George McCoy at Warren Allen Attorneys at Law, Battery Exchange, Maestro Dobel Tequila, Your Neighborhood Restaurant Group, Philbrook Law, 1-800-DIVORCE, Roto-Rooter, Illegal Mezcal, and Window Nation. Before we talk to Greg Oden, I want to get political with you.
Let's do it.
Swag, I know you like to
turn your mic on. Let's go.
Hop into the political waters. By the way, breaking news: the Phillies have fired their manager.
Just great. We're there. Now they're going to get the fired manager bump. Yeah. They're probably going to hit 5 home runs tonight. Couldn't you have waited until we left town? Come on, Philly.
So I'm not getting political with you in a way that you may think. So yesterday I checked my mail, as I do every 2 weeks, which probably pisses my...
Dude, your mailman hates you.
She does hate us.
Hates you.
Hates us.
We got a great mailman. He's like a celebrity in the neighborhood. He carries around a bag of toys for kids when he sees them. He's got treats in the pockets for the dog. He's a big time guy. Big time guy in the hood.
You worried about that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. Not everybody's a pedophile.
I didn't even say that.
That's where you went.
I don't know about that.
Not everybody is.
Dog snatcher. So we get these pamphlets, these voter pamphlets, right? Yeah. It's election season. And I open this up, and I'm going through all the candidates. I don't know all the candidates, right? So I go through, and I had some downtime. I'm perusing. What are all the measures? Where are all the measures going? Who are the people running for this district and that district? And I find a person that I know of through another person. And this person's already run before and lost, and they're running again. And I took a photo, and I sent it to the person, and I said, running again, huh? Couldn't handle loss the first time.
Round 2.
And it was a funny response of, oh, yeah, they're a huge piece of crap, too. Because when you live in a community...
Yeah, people know things about you.
People know
they know
other
how you
people.
Operate.
You could probably certain text about me behind my back. Like,
Sure.
Well, he's kind of a weird duck.
Right.
He never says goodbye at parties. He doesn't show up half the time. He's a weirdo. Definitely out there. It was just really funny, and I thought of a really funny political commercial. Could you imagine the opponent of that person
getting that guy to be
getting
in an ad?
that person to be on the commercial, and it's like, I know him, huge piece of crap. Don't vote for him.
We've had that with family members of politicians.
I know,
who have come out and been very adamantly against their sibling.
But it's not worked.
Running for it doesn't usually work
because everybody's like, "Well, the family's jaded." Like, nobody wants to believe that their candidate could be awful.
The people who have known them their entire lives. I'm going to take your word for it. If your family's coming out and campaigning against you, how is that not the biggest of red
flags?
This
isn't a family.
No, it's just somebody who knows.
It's just a person that knows, and it was the most hilarious. Like, yeah. Can't quite get the message that nobody wants him. Huge piece of crap.
Stop running for office, man. It's not going to work out for you, okay?
Well,
this isn't going to happen.
I'm just like, you can't get another hobby.
I know. Find something else to do. It costs money to do that, too. It takes time and effort as well.
Oh,
depending on what you're running for.
Like I see the signs. The person's signs.
If they're the sign level of candidate, that's a lot of time, effort, and staff and work. And like that's an operation that goes into that.
The funny thing is when you see other people that you know separate, that it says they've endorsed them. And I'm like,
wait, what?
Do they know they've endorsed a huge piece of crap?
You might need to send them a text message and say, are you aware of what you're doing here?
Nope.
Would you like to see the bodies in the closet? I'm going to go ahead and open it up for you. Check it out. I got things in his closet.
They might just show you the bodies in the closet. Look at my bodies, huh? Pretty cool. I got bodies in my closet.
Very true. Yeah, I haven't known anybody that's run for office in quite some time. We had an old family friend who ran. I went and knocked on doors, ran for the House Senate in the state of Oregon. It's always a fun thing to go knock on random people's doors.
If I ran...
You know who you're voting for?
If I ran for like local government and I asked you And I asked both of you guys to knock on doors with me.
I'd knock on doors for you.
You would?
I would. I would hate you for asking me to do it, but I would do it.
Swag, would you go knock on some doors for me?
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are nice. It just seems
I'd
awful
write
to
some
have to do
speeches
that.
for you.
I mean, I'm not going to be.
speeches for me.
You'd be a speechwriter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a pesty knock on door guy. Like if you get, like
Right.
I'm not going to linger. If you want to talk, I'll talk to you. But if you give me a no, thank you. All right, see you later.
Well, it's soliciting, though.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
I know.
So it feels a little awkward to do it.
Not ideal.
All right. Well, we have a loaded third hour of the radio program, and Greg Oden is set to call in. Yes, former number one pick of your Portland Trailblazers. He's now diving into an interesting realm in his professional career, and I want to talk to him about that. What's he make of our beloved Blazers that he's keeping an eye on, and the luxury lifestyle of an NBA player. Greg Oden, loaded third hour, Dirt and Sprague, 105.1, The Fan.
Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader at 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Really excited for this one, man. We got a lot to get to over the next 2 hours of the show. This is one where, like, you think back to a younger self. We're unique in this regard. We grew up in this market, root for the teams in this market. And so this is one, like, a day I will never forget in my sports fandom. And it happened to coincide with something else in my life. The last day I ever played a high school baseball game, or baseball game for that matter, because I didn't play baseball after high school. Our state playoff game, we ended up losing. But before the game was going on, it was an evening game, we were all sitting in the dugout waiting for the draft lottery reading.
Who wasn't?
Of 2007.
Oh, God.
The high school playoff game, bedamned, we might have the number one overall pick in the NBA draft. It's a day I'll never forget, and it led to Greg Oden becoming a Portland Trailblazer and joining us now for the first time.
The biggest guest in show history.
Literally the biggest guest in show history. Greg Oden, former Portland Trailblazer. He's going to be the keynote speaker at the PDXYZ event August 5th through the 7th. So coming up a couple months from now, an event that we've had something to do with here the last handful of years. Greg, good morning, man. How's life? How we doing? We got him. Did we lose him?
We lost him.
We lost him.
We lost Gregory Oden.
We lost Gregory
Damn
Oden.
it, Swag.
We're off to a horrible start.
Yeah.
He called in early.
And he was like, Gregory Oden.
Yes, he was excited.
Dude.
He's pumped to be here. He loves the city of Portland.
If he's doing voices calling in, he should have a cartoon
Let's try
voice.
again. Greg, can you hear us?
We got him.
I can hear you guys.
Let's go,
Yes,
baby.
let's
hear
go.
me.
Yes.
We got you.
Loud and clear.
What are we up to these days, Greg? What's life been like?
Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I appreciate you guys for having me. I definitely heard the oh gosh before the 2007 draft. I understand it as well. Kevin Durant is amazing. I'm going to get that out the way right now. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. I'm just going to say that right now. But right now, Gregory Oden is sitting in Louisville, Kentucky, about to go to day one of everything going on here for the horse races.
Ooh.
And, yeah, but these days I'm working with Elite Life Consulting with a do everything sports marketing firm, helping getting these kids to colleges and helping them get NIL deals and doing it for the right reasons. You know, I've been on both sides. I've coached, I've played, and I just want these kids to have better life than me, even though I'm pretty happy with myself right now. And I'm going to thank Portland Trailblazers for that, because my life changed the day that I got drafted, and I would never forget that. I am indebted to the city of Portland and the Portland Trailblazers and the organization and Paul Allen and his family. I am so thankful for everything. So I appreciate you all for having me. And just know I got all that out the way, so now I can talk shit.
I love it. I'm glad you did that. I want to ask you this. So we watched this Jailblazer doc, and it had Bonzi in it, and Bonzi Wells gets traded to Portland, and he thought it was Portland, Maine. He didn't know where Portland, Oregon was, and I don't know if I've ever heard this from you. Like, when it came down to Seattle, Portland, when it got to that point, it was a shock to everybody. Were you in your mind, like, I'm assuming you knew where Seattle was, like, what did you even know about Portland, Oregon when it, like, came down to the last two picks?
So I wasn't like Bonzi per se, but I was on the flight. And literally when I landed, because it was supposed to be Boston, Memphis, and then it was Portland, Seattle, I go, huh, okay.
Different part of the country.
All right.
Yes. But honestly, I knew nothing. But I learned quick. You guys have some really good seafood and really great people and one of the best sceneries in the country.
Yeah. It's funny when you think back to, I'm curious to ask you, because we're going through a playoff run right now. The Blazers, I think they're going to probably lose tonight and the season will come to an end, but we're going through a lot of these young guys kind of getting that taste of the playoffs for the first time, and I wanted to ask you about that. Like there was so much hope and optimism, man. Like, this city was alive in a way, in a basketball standpoint, that it hadn't been in a long time when you guys made that playoff series and you're going against Houston. It's the first time in a minute since they had been there. Like, as a young player going through that for the first time, like, how different different was the game, the speed, the matchups throughout the course of a series? Like, what did you learn, and how did you evolve, I guess, throughout going through that experience for the first time? Because we got a lot of young guys who are doing that right now in the playoffs.
Well, honestly, I think that first playoff series kind of hits you hard. You really don't know what to expect. You don't really understand that the game is different when it comes to playoff basketball, but it really is. And I just think a lot of these young guys are going through it for the first time, but now they got that experience. But that's one thing that we see in Drew Holiday, who's been through it before. He understands that. He understands that the reffing is different. He understands that the physicality is different. He understands that the moment is not meant for you to just be cool. Like, you actually need to take advantage of this moment and play your best basketball. So I really respect Drew for everything that he's doing. And I think that, I hate to say this, but I am so proud of the Trailblazers for winning the one game, because I honestly had San Antonio winning the championship. So the fact that we was able to get a game, I think we overstepped for my expectations. But I'm just so proud of this team. I love Denny. I love everybody on this team. I love the organization. I just love the fact that they go out there and they hoop. And when they're playing fast and they're hitting their threes, I think we're actually a really good contender.
Well, you've gotten into the coaching element. I know you're in the NIL space now, and I do want to ask you about that. It's very interesting as somebody who didn't have it, and my God, your life financially, what the difference would have been if Greg Oden out of high school going into Ohio State would have had something like this and the perspective you can offer. I got to ask you a hoop question, though, as somebody that watches basketball, that knows the game so well, who's also a pretty big dude. What are you doing against a Victor Wembanyama, this 7'5" alien that weighs 10 pounds, but, man, he's so skilled, he's so smart. Like, how is Greg Oden defending against a player like that, where not very many times in your life you're going against somebody kind of bigger than you in some ways? Like, what would you do or tell a Donovan Clingan and how to defend a guy like that?
Well, first off, he's still kind of light. Once he gets Giannis weight, then the NBA got to worry about a whole entire problem.
Yeah.
But right now, you push him out. But secondly, the way he's playing and his dedication, you just got to fight him and both get kicked out. You just got to sacrifice for the team.
We got young Hansen, man, our rookie center. He's good for 5-6 fouls. Throw him out there, man.
No, put somebody in there and just fight them. And then both of them get kicked out. And then, you can play a regular game.
Can we hire you as coach? I think that's probably the best strategy to date that we've heard on handling Victor Wembanyama.
Now, Greg, we're winning 2 games.
Now we got 2 games. He's not playing. That's probably our only chance.
Look, I got a coach's mindset. I'm just saying. I know.
They go to
look, when I think about it, and I'm trying to think about, look, you can't change the game of basketball. He's one of the greatest basketball players out there right now. I mean, he can shoot the three. He got mid-range. He can dunk everything. He's taller than everybody. He blocks everything. He got handles. He can steal. Like, literally, you just got to get him out the game. But another thing right now that I've seen, he plays about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then they have to take him out. So if the Trailblazers, they get up and down, that's one thing I saw. Was game 2? You guys start running and hit the three. I think we can actually get something going, but you got to get him tired, because he does so much on the basketball court that he's going to wear himself out until he gets to that level that Giannis was like. I just do everything and I am everything. I came from nothing, so this is nothing to me.
Yeah, we're talking.
I don't know if that makes sense, but in my head it does.
Yeah, for sure does. Yeah, we're talking with Greg Oden, former #1 overall pick, Portland Trailblazer. He's going to be the PDX YZ keynote speaker August 5th through 7th here in Portland, and it's really fun, man. This is a fun interview. I'm curious to go back to the college days for you because you're saying you're working in the NIL space now, and just how crazy that is. Like I saw a report, and we haven't talked about it on the show yet, but I think it was Jonathan Gavoni had a thing about the number of players that have declared for the NBA draft is one of the lowest it's been, in 25 years, somewhere along those lines. Only 71 players so far because so many guys are coming back for another year and being like, hey, maybe I'm a second-round pick, but this school is going to pay me X amount to keep playing. So I'm just curious what you make of the space and the way it's evolved and kind of the Wild West nature of it. And then taking yourself back to your college days, how do you think you would have handled having that when you were 18 years old in your year at Ohio State?
Well, let's just put this in perspective. I'm pretty sure Bryce James is making more than Bronny James in college.
Jeez.
Which is crazy to say out loud when Bronny James just played, well, today's Tuesday, so 2 days ago in the playoffs, right? On the two-way contract that got brought up to a regular contract. So why would you not stay in college? And if a school is going to find a way to get you $5-6 mil to just be a college student and a kid, why not?
Right.
But the only thing about that I hate is what is the motivation for you getting better? What is the motivation for you to want more? Because at this point, when these kids are getting this at 17, 18, what is going to drive you to be the best you can at 25 when you already made this much money? So that's going to weigh out a lot of kids that just come in there just to make money and not for the love of the game and for the love of the sport and competition. And to say this, if I was playing in the NIL era, I would be at least top 3 highest paid ever in NIL era.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to be conceited at all,
No.
Number one pick in the draft.
Facts, man.
So.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you then, like, kind of a two-parter then? One, so some of these kids are making the money in high school. Like, there are states that have okayed the high school players to start making money. They don't even have to wait to college. And so you see, like, there's a couple high school basketball players. One kid at Rainier Beach, Stokes, he was in, like, an All-State commercial or something. Like, they can make that money then. How would it have impacted or changed maybe your drive as an athlete in high school at North Lawrence to make that money and then at Ohio State making even more money? And then where's the NIL space need to be fixed? What is it about the NIL space to make you dive in and want to invest your time and your energy to address what it is right now?
Well, first I want to say it was Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. That's my apologies.
I apologize.
No, I apologize.
I had to say that. Yeah. But honestly, I wish I can say I knew. All I know is from my heart, I think the NCAA is going to have a big problem on their hands because there's a lot of kids that's transferring from schools that literally, when they graduate, don't have a home school because you went to 3 colleges in 4 years.
Right.
So what school do you actually represent or what school do you feel closest to? But then another thing is, when you transfer, you drop out second semester. So when you drop out second semester, those credits don't count. And then when these guys transfer out of state, do they forget that you got to pay taxes the year before that year? So it's going to be a lot of kids, and there's no more COVID year. Right. So there's going to be a lot of kids coming up in the next 2 or 3 years that literally are going to be done with college, owing Uncle Sam, and not having a degree. Because if you drop out 3 times, how many credits do you really have with no more COVID years? So I think the NCAA is going to have a real big problem, and I think that's where it needs to come from. And honestly, giving these kids this money, right now it's the Wild Wild West. It's way too much money for a lot of these kids that really don't deserve it. One of my biggest stories is me coaching at Butler and walking into Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament, and I'm the highest paid. Well, I'm not the highest paid. I'm the most known in the arena, but our fourth man is getting paid more than me. And I'm doing 3 jobs at Butler. And it was like, what is going on right now? Like, literally, nobody wants to talk to you. They want to come and take pictures with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just the video coordinator / Dobo / assistant big man coach / NIL guy. Like, it was a lot going on for me not to get paid more than the players.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with a lot of these coaches, by the way. Their players are getting paid a lot more than them, and they don't even know what's going on. And they're really not that good, by the way.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic of the relationship. There's no doubt about that. When you talk about coaching, the college stuff is a hilarious story about the time at Butler. Do you see that as like a future for you? Is that something you want to get back into and you think you could do long term, or you got a taste of it and you're like, nah, man, I'm good?
Honestly, I would love to be a GM of a college team, and I would love to help out with the bigs. So, like, for me, I'm like, look, Ohio State, I'm saying it right now, Ohio State, let me be a GM. You need a face, I'm the face. Who's the only number 1 draft pick in the history? Gregory Oden. I don't even need to do all the dirty work or all that stuff that you want me to do. If you want me to, I will. But if you need to send me off to do some fundraising with Ohio State and then I happen to be in California or in Oregon, why not? Would I not do a little visit to a kid that we're trying to recruit?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I come back, I can go in and be on the court with the bigs. Like, to me, that's the ideal job. So I'm just putting that out in the universe. Ohio State, what's going on?
Hey, I know Oregon needs a GM right now, Greg. Dana Altman doesn't have a GM. If you're looking, you want to move back out,
Oregon,
let's go.
Hey, Oregon, you need a GM. Hey, look, I keep saying, look, you just need a face. Who else can make any phone call to any Division I school, any school actually in the country? I like to say that I don't open up doors. Sometimes I'll just be walking down the street, the door's open, and be like, G.O., what's good? Come in.
We have a new owner here, which, you shouted out Paul Allen and the organization for the way they treated you when you got here and everything, and that's great. And I think we have a lot of culture shock. We got the media out here, the fans, maybe even some of the players behind the scenes. We haven't heard anybody publicly, but there's a lot of culture shock because the guy's not coming in with Paul Allen money. The guy's coming in, and we've nicknamed him Tommy Two Nickels. He seems to be cutting and being a little bit cheap. What can you tell us the extravagant lifestyle of a number 1 pick and NBA guys in general, where you hear about an NBA owner deciding to be cheap around the organization and make cuts, like how that resonates, you think, from the player side and just how to operate an organization when you are that cheap?
Well, first off, your contract is your contract, so that's one thing. I don't know where you can be cheap in that aspect, but in everything else, I haven't been there. I know it's a new age right now, but I just think that he can't really cut what's already been put there.
Right.
It's already set in stage. Like, this is a funny story that y'all don't know about, but when I first got to Portland, we didn't have washcloths. We had towels. We had to wash with our hands until me, B-Roy LaMarcus was like, hold on now, we African Americans, we use washcloths. So, like, what's going on here? And then at one point, one of the guys had to start cutting up towels to get us washcloths. And I'm just saying, like, at this point in the league, like, I don't see where he can cut. Only thing that he's going to cut is bringing in a big name to Portland.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, white people use hands. I don't know what that is. I don't know what
It
that
is,
says about us, but white people
Evidently, I need to be using a washcloth,
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm
No, it's two white guys on the phone
It's
with
all
you,
right.
Greg.
We
It's
get it,
okay.
Greg.
a lot right now.
We're trying to educate each other.
Greg,
We're growing as people right now. I like this.
I'm a 39-year-old pale white. I'm telling you right up. I use my hands every day. It is what it is. I don't know why. That's
Today, washcloth for
Washcloths
Gregory.
now.
That's what we're doing. Last one I got for you. I am curious because you and I we're all kind of roughly the same age. I remember being a senior in high school, your freshman year at Ohio State, watch you get to the national title game and all that. I've always wanted to know, do you remember what size shorts you wore at Ohio State?
They were 2X, but at that time, I think Nike was trying to recreate the Mellow shorts.
Yeah.
So the 2X was like a 4X in length.
Yeah. You ever look back at those photos and go
swimming in those things,
You
man?
ever look back at those photos and
Oh,
go,
yeah,
damn.
it was the tight upper one and
Yes.
then the big old shorts.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Those things were massive.
Look,
man.
I know everybody's careers are different lengths. Is it not nuts to you to still see your buddy Mike Conley out there in the playoffs right now playing basketball? That's nuts to me.
What you talking about? I was cheering my butt off last night.
Oh, I
But
know.
I'm gonna say this.
It's crazy still
So
playing.
with Chris Paul retiring, the oldest players in the league are LeBron James, Al Horford, Jeff Green, Mike Conley, and Kevin Durant. And my draft was me, Kevin Durant, Al Horford, Mike Conley, and Jeff Green. That was the
those
top
7
five.
guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And just so you know, when I say it out loud, it hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
But you know what? I am so proud of those guys. I'm a fan of the game, and to see them guys still go out there and still do it at this level, I'm happy and I'm joyful and proud to see those guys still doing. I wish I could, but I think there was a bunch of knee surgeries that happened in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, but you probably wish you could shoot
Yeah,
threes. Could you shoot threes in this era?
I probably would start shooting threes, but like I keep on telling people, if you can't stop me from dunking, why am I shooting threes?
Amen, man.
That's a great point.
Amen. Look, I hope, this has been a really fun one for us as guys who grew up in Portland and remember, followed the team for a long time. I hope that you know, too, like what the city feels about you. And like, as we're watching messages come in during the interview, it's unanimous of like, man, tell Greg how much the city of Portland loves him and how many great memories that we had and some of the highlight dunks and the moments that this fan base will never forget. And so I know it wasn't the outcome that anybody wanted when it started, but I hope you know how much you still mean to the city, and whenever you come back, it's still a big deal, and you're going to be at the PDXYZ event August 5th through 7th as the keynote speaker. So always welcome back on the show anytime you want. I hope you know you're loved in Rip City and always will be, and thanks for the time this morning, man. We appreciate it.
Well, I just want to say I hope if you guys are around, come to the PDXYZ event in August. Just going to have some very candid, open conversations, and I hope people can come out and just support. But I love the city of Portland. I really appreciate the Portland Trailblazers. They literally changed my life, my family's life, and I'm forever grateful to them. And I appreciate you guys for having me. But I do like to say that, I'm not down of how everything went. I hate that I wasn't able to turn up for Portland like I really wanted to, but it's my only life. Like I can't be down about it. I don't look down or think it was a bad thing. I think it happened and I got to make the best of it. So I think when in everybody else's life, look at it like that as well. Like you can't control what somebody else does. All you can control is what's going on in your life. So make the best of it and be happy because if it's something that's bad, shit, what you gonna do about it? Just cry? No. You gotta wake up tomorrow too. So if it's bad, make the best of it. Smile. Yeah. Be the best. Make the best of any terrible situation because it's your only life. So.
And use a wash rag.
And use a wash rag. I love it. Yeah. Amen. Greg,
100% wash your ass.
Enjoy the Derby, man. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
There you go. Greg Oden, former number 1 overall pick.
Wash your ass.
Wash your ass. Lesson of the day, use a washcloth. Wash
Greg
your ass.
Oden's lesson of the day, wash your ass.
Look, we knew we'd go long there. We got to play catch up, but that was a lot of fun. Thanks again to Greg Oden. Again, PDXYZ event, August 5th through 7th. He's going to be the keynote speaker. We're back after this on The Fan. Again, that was fun, man. That was a lot of fun.
That was great to catch up with him. I didn't so much want to lean into the because he's done interviews.
Yeah.
And
I didn't want him to take my opening thing as like, what a bummer that we took.
I know.
I was genuinely being serious. Like, I don't have a lot to be happy about in my lifetime as a Blazer fan. We've talked about that at length.
It's up there.
That's why the Jailblazer teams always meant so much to us, because that's really all we got.
Yeah.
That's like a top 10 Blazer fandom day in my life. Maybe top 5.
Since
the day we got the number 1 overall pick.
Post I would say the 2000 Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
From then on, it's the emergence of Roy.
Yes, some of the moments that Roy brought you in the wins, but he never won a playoff series.
I know, but we know what it meant to us.
It meant a ton, no doubt about it.
Having LaMarcus, Dame.
Great, getting the number 1 overall
Western
pick.
Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's in the top 5 post the 2000 Western Conference Finals of moments for the Trailblazers.
Never forget that day.
So wash rag, no wash rag. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
I'm glad that they've introduced it into the Blazers organization.
Thanks to Greg Oden.
Shout out the 3 black guys.
Who got it
Brandon
done.
Roy, Greg Oden, LaMarcus Aldridge.
I'm a hand guy too.
Yeah.
Hand.
Yeah.
All the time.
I
need a rag. What do you do with it after you're done? Do you hang it up somewhere?
Yeah, it's usually hanging in the shower.
And like you hang it on. Oh, you got to get a little hook for it.
There's a little hook that's usually on the thing.
Oh, okay.
You don't have like a shower rack?
No, not. Well, I guess we do.
The wife has not a rag, but it's basically used as a rag. It is
like a loofah.
It's not a loofah.
Not full loofah?
It looks like not an oven mitt, but you know the square oven thing?
It's like something you wash your car with?
It kind of looks like one of those.
Okay.
It is so bristly. If I rub my arm with it, it's red for an hour.
Yeah, they like scrubbing. I don't like scrubbing. I like soft and delicate. I need to be touched.
You drop a they?
Gently. Yeah, ladies, they like it. They like it rough.
Yeah.
I like it soft.
Well, to Greg Oden's point, black people.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a washcloth is rough. I think it's a little bit different.
Some washcloths are rough.
Okay.
I don't know if the Blazer towel wash rag was tough.
They're just in there cutting up towels, turning them in.
I love that he did that.
If you missed it, Greg Oden interview was a lot of fun. Or Gregory, as he's going by now. Evidently, we got a name change. So Gregory Oden was awesome.
So do you go from? I used to say Gregory to Greg.
Yeah, you think
Not
you go
reversed.
the other way around. But hey, if he wants to be Gregory, I'll call him Gregory. I'm going to go to the event. I want to get my Greg Oden jersey signed.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. If you miss it, we'll have it up after the show, 1051thefan.com. And then you can rewind on YouTube, the app, and all that. Go find it. Really fun conversation with Greg Oden. Let's try and get back on track here. And something that I asked him about where this trend goes from here in the NBA. That's next. But first, here's Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on Fan, Blazers face elimination tonight in San Antonio. Game 5 of their first-round series against the Spurs after they blew halftime leads at home in both games 3 and 4. It's a 6:30 tip on ESPN. Portland 12.5-point underdogs. Celtics can knock out the Sixers hosting Game 5 tonight. They're 11.5-point favorites. That precedes them on ESPN at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock on KGW8, Game 5 between the Knicks and Hawks from Madison Square Garden. They're locked up at 2 games apiece. New York is 6.5-point favorite. Cooper Flagg of the Mavericks was named NBA Rookie of the Year on Monday. It was the second closest voting since the current system was installed. Flagg beat out former Duke teammate Con Knippel. Barely a month into the season, we've already had our second manager fired in the major leagues. The Phillies letting go of Rom Thompson. Don Mattingly set to serve as the interim manager. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime.
All right, we got the mail sack coming up top of the hour. Your questions are welcome. 503-864-6326.
Mail sack.
People arguing wash your ass needs to be a drop, which I think it does. Hopefully we didn't laugh over it because when he said it, that was pretty funny. So fingers crossed. We'll check the audio on that.
I got to worry about you. You're the giggler.
Dude, that
you
one
like
was,
to giggle.
when he dropped a wash your ass, I couldn't help on that one.
Swag, can you check to see if wash your ass was
at the very end there? That'd be a solid drop right there.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the mail sack coming up top of the hour, and I got a couple of random NFL kind of leftovers, if you will, here in a few moments that we have not got to yet out of the NFL draft, including one player in the relationship that he may or may not have had with the team prior to the draft, and then one guy going undrafted that led to a lot of conversation, if you will. So that's coming up in a moment. I asked Greg about this, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Like this was a storyline yesterday out of the NFL draft weekend for me, and it was when you looked at the percentage of players from Power 4 schools that when drafted, it was higher. The percentage just keeps going up and up and up because so many good players, if you're having good seasons at the FCS level or the Group of 6 level, you transfer up to a Power 4 level. There's also the storylines from GMs anonymously saying, we feel like some of the talent in rounds 4 through 7 is not what it's been in years past because more guys are deciding to stay in school.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not crying about it. I just find it an interesting trend of where it goes from here. This is another one that came out yesterday. So Jonathan Gavoni yesterday put this out. We know how rampant NIL is in college basketball, how many guys are transferring. It was wild. We do this every year in like the Sweet 16. Outside of Michigan State, they put like the little graphics of where everybody started their career and what school they're playing for now. And essentially every school was like you couldn't even guess what school it was.
Michigan's whole starting lineup
was all from transfers, right? Michigan State's one of those random outliers in a modern era that's still doing it in old school way. Well, now add this to the mix. There have only been 71 players entered into the 2026 NBA draft. That is down from 106 from last year, and a peak of in 2021, there were 363. 5 years ago, 363. This year, 71. That's the lowest entry total since 2003. And there's a double-edged sword to this, right? On the one hand, you can make the argument, probably good for college basketball. Guys are coming back and finishing their careers, and hopefully, although to Greg's point, it's hard to do when you transfer a ton, getting a degree. On the other part, it's a little bit slim pickings the deeper down the boards you go. And I can't remember the kid's name because I don't follow it closely, but I think there was a Florida kid who had a chance to be a lottery pick, decided to come back to school. And so that number was jaw-dropping to me of 71 players entered into the NBA draft.
Yeah, I mean, fat chance to me these kids are getting degrees even when deciding to come back. Yeah. I mean, to Greg's point, you're transferring. What are your credits transferring over? What classes did you even take for the semester? PE,
pool,
ballroom dancing, pool, like remote PE, like
billiards.
So it's like I don't think it's going that direction. They're chasing bags.
I don't blame them. It's more affordable that way, or more fruitful.
Do you want to be a high second-round pick in the NBA draft, or do you want to go make $6 million to go play for Kentucky? I think for most people, I'm leaning Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm good enough to get better, make the money, come back and be a first-round pick next year. So like, I saw that takeaway. I think it was DeCosta said it with the Ravens, and you've heard, I think Andrew Brandt sent out a video where he talked about how hard it was for them in round 6 and 7 in the NIL era. Now it's going from 4 to 7, and I'm like,
right.
Cry me a river.
Yeah,
like, get out of here.
I don't care about NFL teams complaining about it. I just find it interesting.
Picks aren't even going to make the team half the time.
No, I just find it interesting more so from an angle of like, what is it? Because I mean, it's unique in the NBA.
Different.
Basketball's for sure different.
A lot different.
Well, let's use one of our guys who's on the trip, by the way, as a two-way player.
Yeah.
Caleb Love this year, I believe, made $600,000.
He easily made triple that at Arizona.
Easily. He was making $2 million probably last year as a tournament team and one of the faces of their program.
You don't leave North Carolina for Arizona unless the bag is really good.
So it's like, what would you rather do? Be playing for the Rip City Ignite, or would you rather be making $2 million playing in the Final Four at Arizona? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but some guys don't want to do it over and over. I'm not saying that they don't want the money. It's that, like, Caleb Love, I guess, is different because he was in college for, 3 years, right? North Carolina, and then Arizona,
that sounds right.
2 years in a row?
I think so.
It's 3 or 4 years. You're going to get some guys who want to hang around for 5, but you're going to get a lot of other guys. Like, how much would A.J. DeBonsa make if he came back? We debated this last year, by the way. I brought this up organically as a topic. Cooper Flagg could go to the NBA. Yeah. He'll be the number 1 pick.
5 years, by the way, for Caleb Love because he had a COVID
That's
year,
right.
so
Thank
he's
you.
5 years in college.
So when you look at Cooper Flagg, what was his first-year salary? What's the first pick in the NBA draft?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Give me a second.
It's not massive, but it's decent NIL payment.
So it's a 4-year, $62 million deal with 28 guaranteed. His average salary is 15.6.
Yeah, he could easily have made that.
What could he
NIL.
have made at Duke with the NIL there plus endorsements at Duke? He probably could have matched it.
Easily.
But, there's only going to be so many guys that say no to that versus, Darius Acuff. You don't think Calipari would find a way for the Walton family and the Tyson chicken money to get Darius Acuff paid to come back to Arkansas?
Yeah.
But Darius Acuff would rather be the 6th pick in the draft, the 5th pick in the draft, or work his way up to be the sneaky 3rd pick, whatever it ends up being.
It's more the fringe guys, the second-round guys, the guys who don't have an easy pathway. And this is where I think there is a positive. We talk a lot about the negatives of NIL, and I get it. Guys transferring a ton sucks, and you don't lose. You don't have the connection to the program or the players that maybe you used to and all that.
Sure.
But from the point that Greg's trying to make, but some of these guys trying to set themselves up financially and what could it mean for them, a lot of these guys don't on to have long, lengthy NBA careers. And so if somebody's going to pay you $3 million to stay in college for 1 year instead of testing the market as the end of the second-round pick that's a two-way player, not making a ton of money, it's a no-brainer financially for them. And I think it's also beneficial to the sport because you're having guys stick to the college sport, I should say.
Right.
Having guys stick around a little bit longer. They're more experienced. The product hopefully gets a little bit better. I think all of that can become a win for college sports.
Well, and look at Yaxel Lindenborg, right?
Yes, he's a great example of
this. He could have come out last year, and he would have been picked, but he came back. They won the title. He made a ton of money, and now he's probably going to maybe he would have been in the lottery last year to the point of draft evaluators, but he seems like he's destined to be in the lottery.
Yeah.
So it works out for a lot of guys. I understand the number thing, and maybe it's a problem down the road that we need to address and change. I think them making noise in the NBA and NFL is kind of setting this up in a particular way.
Yeah.
But also, I don't blame any of these student athletes for going back and making more money, especially in football, man.
College is fun, too, man. That sounds like a great time to me. $2 million, go play some college.
I think Dante Moore's going to enjoy this year in Eugene.
He's going to have a lot of fun.
Making what he's making instead of getting his brains beat in at the Jets.
Yep. Let's get to a couple of leftover tidbits from the weekend. An undrafted player that generated some headlines and a secret meeting. Are we buying it? We'll get to that next on The Fan.
Big hits. Big bets. Big plays.
Today I'm laying the big wood.
This is the Layin' Wood Report, brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 50 years.
Well, what do? Tried to, just split it. Took it all the way in and somehow gets the roll. That is ridiculous.
There's SGA scoring. Oklahoma City sweeps the Suns. They averaged 122.8 points per game this series. The defending champs looking like the runaway wagon right now in the NBA.
This is where you're, I guess, slightly thankful that you won the play-in game because your season would have already been over had you had to play Oklahoma City in the first round. Now, I do think it will end tonight.
Over
so
if Wemby didn't get hurt.
You've lasted one more day than the Phoenix Suns. We got that going for us, baby.
Layin' Wood Report brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 60 years. Delivery, custom cutting, and special orders. Visit them at Southeast Stark Street. Great customer service or online at mrplywoodinc.com.
All right, welcome back in. Millsack coming up top of the hour. Thanks for hanging with us. If you missed it, we had Greg Oden on for about a half hour. About 45 minutes ago. It was a delightful interview. Really fun for us to talk to him, and so you can go catch that 1051thefan.com or rewind on YouTube. Oh, what do we got? What happened?
He's coming in studio in August.
Yes, he is. The brand man just came in to alert us. He had so much fun on that interview that when he's in town in August, he wants to pop into the studio.
I'm going to get him the greatest wash rags as a gift when he comes in studio.
I think that's a phenomenal idea.
I think it's a good idea.
I'm bringing in my Greg Oden jersey to get it autographed.
So you're after just something from him. I'm trying to give something to him. That explains us in a nutshell right there.
I'm going to frame that thing, put it in my man cave.
I'm trying to help him wash his ass, and you're out here. Can you give me something?
My signed jersey collection now is... Oh, let me hear it again.
Wash your ass.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Can you drop the last... Huh? I think that might be you.
Well, yeah, you had already said it, though. Try it again.
Wash your ass.
Yeah, right at the...
See if there's one more millisecond that we can slop off that guy.
Just cut, and I think we can get it in there.
My autographed jersey collection is now up to Gary Danielson and potentially Greg Oden.
Is that all your... That's all your signed autographed jerseys?
I don't have any other signed jerseys, no. I have other signed pictures and things, but no other jerseys.
Jerseys is a fun one, because I think at this point, now that I know he's coming, I got to get a Greg Oden jersey signed.
You have to.
So I will have Greg Oden, Sebastian Telfair.
Hell yeah.
Gilbert Arenas.
Hell yes.
Wash your ass.
That's perfect.
That's good. That's
perfect.
good right there.
Really well done there, Swagger.
What a drop by Greg Oden.
Wash your ass.
This was interesting. So this came out. We talked about it on Monday or Friday. It would have been because the first round of the NFL draft. And the shocker of the opening round ended up being, wait, who did the Rams take? What?
I don't believe them.
So you're calling fake news on this.
I watched the press conference.
And everybody thought that Sean McVay looked like he was in a hostage video talking about them drafting Ty Simpson. Well, Ty Simpson did an interview on ESPN Radio in L.A.
Well, don't forget, he also came out when he was drafted and said, I literally haven't talked to anybody in the org except a scout for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that is true. He did say that the night of the draft.
That was after he got drafted.
Was the ruse still on?
Why would you still have a ruse on?
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Play the clip. This makes no sense to me.
Here's Ty Simpson on ESPN Radio saying secret meetings were had.
We tried to keep this, under wraps as long as we could. It was something to where I knew they were interested, but, they wanted to, make it private and didn't want people to know that, they were interested. So I had some secret meetings with, Coach McVay, and, I just was trying to be on script and do what everybody told me, not to tell anybody. So it was something to where I knew that they were interested. I just didn't know when. And then sure enough, I had a lot of confidence in myself, and that's why I decided to come out. If it wasn't them, I felt like that it was going to be somebody else.
Secret meetings.
So I didn't pull the clip and send it to Swag, but Schefter did an interview and it's basically like if he didn't get picked there, the intel he has collected is he doesn't think Ty Simpson's a first-round quarterback. If he doesn't get picked with the Rams at that pick specifically, now he's like, I can't say this with 100% confidence.
What do you think, Mr. Editor? Is this right?
But he's basically saying he doesn't think the Cardinals or Jets trade back in.
The Jets had another
the back end, but he doesn't think that either one of them either in with their pick or trade back in, take him in the first round. So a guy that wasn't going to be picked in the first round, picked at 13. Look, maybe he's right, okay? Can you just walk me through a scenario where you get the job, but then you can't say the company's given you the job? Like you got picked and you couldn't say, yeah, Coach and I talked for a few hours and grinded tape. I'm pretty excited about it. I didn't know they'd take me at 13. I'm happy that they took me. Instead, it was, I literally haven't talked to anybody. And then Sean McVay rolls out there and he's like, Matthew Stafford's the quarterback. He's going to have to compete with Stetson. And now I'm suddenly supposed to believe that these conversations were ongoing?
It almost makes it even feel weirder of like, so now they're telling him to lie about a lot. Like they're telling him to lie
make up
to
a
the
lie.
media.
Yeah.
Like, no. You need to go on ESPN Radio and do an interview saying that you talked to Sean McVay.
Well, what's happened since the pick? Have we had fallout? Have we had reaction? Have we had takes? How does it look on social media to the fan base that the coach looks like he hates him? The coach is the most honest. He's one of the most honest media people you have in coaching. He does interviews. He gives you insight. He gets super excited. When he's happy, you can tell. And when he's pissed off, You can tell. He's one of those, he wears it on his face. I'm telling you this as somebody who went through this as a fan. My team traded up 3 picks to draft a quarterback who played like 6 starts at North Dakota whatever, and then all of the intel was like the head coach didn't want him, but the general manager did. And as it unfolded, I was like, yeah, this reporting's true. Kyle clearly didn't want this cat, and he can't play quarterback. Oh, look, Brock Purdy's a starter. I went through it as a fan. I saw it play out. It just is odd. It's very odd to have the guy now come out and like, actually, we had dinner. And he slept with my mom. Like,
I mean, it does seem really weird. The entire thing seems really weird. The only thing that I'll push back on a little bit, just because I don't believe half the stuff he says sometimes, the Schefter thing, I don't believe at all. Like
that's total.
It is so easy for teams after the draft to come out and say we weren't going to take him in the first round
because you want to make another org look stupid.
Exactly, it makes you look no. We weren't planning on doing that. The sources are telling me that we're going to take him to the second round.
No, I totally.
That's the only part of it that I'm like, shut up, Adam. But the rest of it, it's a really weird vibe. All of it is strange. He's either lying on draft night about his communication with the Rams, or he's lying in an ESPN interview about having communication with the Rams when he didn't have it.
He's the 13th
So either
pick.
way, something's wrong here.
This isn't the 3rd round. This isn't Drew Aller.
It's a top 15 pick.
It's a top 15 quarterback pick.
Yep.
That is the clearest of sign, and Oregon is going to give you the keys to everything. And instead, they played it up like it was not their choice. It just was an odd way to handle drafting a quarterback that high.
Very, very strange. Ty Simpson said secret meetings were had between me and Sean McVay. We got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. It's just flying by today, man. We'll get back into the Blazers. Is their season over tonight in San Antonio? We got to come up with a poll question of the day. We haven't thrown one out yet.
We do got to.
So we'll cook one out, throw it out here in the final hour of the show, and we'll start there with a mail sack 503-864-6326. Your questions are welcome, and we'll answer them. Starting them next on The Fan.
Running a